Hey, what it do? Happy Thursday, everybody. You are now listening to the sounds of Ask a Black Man Everything. You know, happiest show in the land on Thursday night. Happy you can join us tonight for another amazing show. You are tuned in to the sounds of Ask a Black Man Anything.
My brother, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Wes.
Great to be in the building. Who's in the night? What's the night? What we doing?
It's always violence.
Violence always.
If you're out there in radio land and you're just tuning in, make sure you send this to your friends on Facebook, on Instagram, or wherever they may be. Turn up and tune in. Show starts in just a few moments. Violence is the way. Hopefully you got a good internet connection, because I would love to see you in the place. Hello, Wessel.
Brother, how you feeling?
I'm good, sir. What up, Snuggles? Welcome back, my good sir. Or good person. Not sure if you're what you're. Hey, sir. It's a nice shirt you got on there.
Oh, yes.
You promoting your own podcast? we got room for you on Wednesday nights.
Wednesday nights, huh?
Yes, sir. We got room for you to broadcast your own show on Wednesday night. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Did I ever do that? I did. Hey, Coach. Got me in. Hey, Lakeisha, y'all come on in here. Welcome to the sounds of Ask a Black Man Anything. What's going on, sir? Wes, you realize you're on mute, right? Why is your audio always messed up every week? You and Robert,
Man.
It's got to be an Aries thing. It's got to be an Aries thing. Oh, it's got to be an Aries thing, because, y'all can't get it right. But you know what? I really can't talk because Leah's birthday was, I think it was either, what's today? Thursday. Leah's birthday was yesterday. Robert's birthday was Monday or Sunday, and yours was like Friday.
Friday.
Y'all like bunched all right there together. I guarantee you, if Leah jumped on here, her audio would be messed up too. It's an Aries thing. Y'all just can't get right.
Whatever.
I actually got a friend that has a birthday on. Two friends that are Aries. Beautiful women. Both have birthdays on March 30th. Really nice people. So maybe it's the female women Aries that are good. And y'all male Aries, y'all just trying to work out your own salvation.
Okay. Right. Can hear me, right?
I can. It's about time you got your audio right. I mean, we be trying to work out your own salvation over there. I don't know what you be doing. It's a white hair right there on my face. See, I can't go full gray just yet. Once it just start taking over, then I'm gonna just go full gray, full white beard, full on.
Got
full
to
on white. Good evening and welcome everybody to Ask a Black Man Anything. Welcome to tonight's show. You are in for a treat tonight, if I do say so myself. Yeah, a full treat. And believe you me, when I say you're in for a full treat, you're in for a full treat. That's what I was looking for. I found what I was looking for. So, I have been majorly busy today and didn't expect to be so busy, but we in here. We in the building.
In the building.
It's so interesting when Shan comes in. he comes in like a drill sergeant, like, line up, you Negroes. I got my email that my new shirt is coming. This one just feels so big. So,
Did you order a size down?
Yeah, I went a size down. I was actually going to order the white one too. But I don't know if I could. I didn't know if that would produce. So, yeah.
Flip your camera.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Jan, my brother, how are you today?
I'm good, Wes.
Real sergeant.
Wes ain't wore a t-shirt in 2 months.
I wear it every time. What are you talking about?
I mean, he fucked up his shirt.
I wore my shirt last week.
I Oh shit! He coming like a Black Panther.
Nah, he was out there pledging folks, man.
Shaft.
He laying down the law. That's why he got on his black cape. He put some pro fights in.
Mm-hmm.
See, he can't even tell nobody. That's how you know.
About a week ago, but nah. Them
said
days
what?
Gone.
You said those days are gone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, glad you're back, man. I want to give a special shout out. I normally don't do this. Wes, happy belated birthday, Wes. His birthday was last week, Friday. Robert's was Monday. So give a special shout out to my friend in Virginia, Leah Jackson. Happy birthday. I know that at least I hope that you enjoyed your birthday. Hopefully you made it a great birthday and it was everything that you wanted to be. And if not, the next one will be, because guess what? Nothing like the dirty 30s. Congratulations on turning another 30 years old. So I'm sure those out in Radio Land would love to hear that. So, and actually, what's really funny, Leo, when I FaceTimed you in the gym, a young guy was like, "Who is that? I want to get at her," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, you ain't got the moxie to deal with that one." So, if you're interested in knowing about who it is, just send me a text and I'll put the word out for you. Yeah, 32.0.
All I got out of that was that you was cock blocking.
No. Trust me. That boy come in the gym smelling like weed every day. He owe me $50, and he done owe me $50 for 3 weeks and still ain't paid. Nah, she don't want nobody like that. I can promise you.
You still that I don't give a fuck. You still cock blocking.
Hey, she can have him. I said if she interested, text me.
Can't. No, she can't. You already blocked it. Now you talking about after you block it. If you want it, I'll pass you the info.
Because I want her to know. Hey,
fellas. Hey. Don't be a Chris.
She will not be interested. I can promise you that. I'll talk to her enough.
Fellas, don't be a Chris. Don't be a Chris.
Don't be a sham. Don't be a hater. Anyways, I am not a hater. I'm a motivator. I'm a proud helper to help you find your source of power if you so desire it. And this week has been a interesting week in the internet world, man. I've seen some things that I don't know if I necessarily want to actually brag about, man. I think I came across a situation that I'm gonna present to you guys in the later on in the question section, and I want to get you guys feedback because I know how I feel, and I got an idea that everybody may have feel the exact same way, but I'm gonna still present it to you guys later on when that section comes up for ask, when we can ask questions, because this one has been burning on me, and I mean it's near and dear to my heart. So this week we are tackling an issue that is that is the issue of violence, and I wish Wes's partner in love and blue roses and red roses and all that was here tonight, because we are going to talk to you about the alpha woman. And is it such a thing? And is she a thriver? Can she thrive in relationships? And I'm gonna actually, real quick, I'm gonna jump into tonight's video in our hot topic section, and I want to share with you this video. I want you guys to take a look at it. I want you to, if you're in the audience, I want you to give us your feedback. Type your comments and let us know what you think about the alpha women. If you're in the comments, let us know if you are an alpha woman. Do you define yourself as that? Do you define yourself as a beta woman or a damsel in distress? What do you define yourself as if you had to coin a phrase for yourself? With that said, I want to jump right to the video. I want to share it with you guys and let us know what your thoughts are.
Alpha females, stay away from them. If you're a masculine man who has purpose and you're trying to get somewhere, stay away from women who are alpha females, who claim to be alpha females. Trust me, masculinity is competitive. Whether it's your masculine homeboy or your masculine woman, it's competitive. This competitiveness is not conducive to a happy, healthy relationship. You see what I'm saying? It's one thing to be competitive with your homeboy when you're over the basketball game and when y'all playing video games, or who can catch the most fish or who can get the most holes. But y'all don't have to let it. Competitiveness will kill sexual attraction. So your homeboy being competitive with you is fine. It stimulates you in that environment, but it's not, y'all not fucking, so it don't matter. But when you competing with somebody, that's going to kill the desire and the sexual attraction. Alpha females don't fucking understand.
So here's what I want to do. Before I open it up, right, I'm going to give you the definition because I Googled it so that you all can have context for the conversation. I believe that context is important, right? A lot of people say that they're alpha women just because they're the boss at their job. Doesn't necessarily make you an alpha, but this is the definition that was Googled. You type in alpha woman definition, here it is. An alpha female or woman, in case you're the type that's offended by the word female, is a powerful and successful woman, often in a leadership role. Alpha females are often described as intimidating by men and women alike. That's so interesting. I'm going to leave that alone. Not here for comment on that part. And here is what Google says is five signs if you are an alpha woman. You volunteer to lead meetings and events. You love encouraging others to succeed because you know their success is also your success. You're confident in your abilities, even with the things you're not familiar with. People often ask you for advice or help, and you have an infectious personality. But the difference between that and what the video was talking about, the video specifically says that alpha women you should be stayed away from. And so here's my thought in reference to that, or my question in reference to that. Do you think if you're a woman and you're watching this show that you're an alpha woman? Do you identify by that term? Does that sound synonymous with you? And if you do, are you in a happy, successful, loving, growing relationship? And if you are, I want you to comment. I want you to DM us, email us, questions at AABMA, and tell us your story, right? Let us know about you so we can get some context. But fellas, what do you think? Welcome Daryl, welcome Jerron, welcome Shahid West and Shan to the show. What do you guys think about the term alpha woman? Have you run across it? Is it something that by definition you would say that you are intimidated by?
For me, it's a fairly new term within the past few years that I've been. I just picked up on what it is in the past few years. When you look out in nature, I've never heard the term alpha female used in respect to nature. Typically, when they are referring to the lead female, it's typically in the sense of the word matriarch. For example, with elephants, they don't have an alpha female, they have the matriarch, where the woman leads the herd and everything goes through her. Alpha female in sense of the societal expression used with human beings, like I said, it's fairly new to me. I haven't really ran into a quote unquote alpha female. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what it looks like. It's women don't intimidate me. So yeah, that women don't intimidate me. I really wouldn't even know. Like, I don't really go off of what Google defines as, because who's defining this when it comes to Google? Like, where are they getting their information from? What studies have they done, etc. So no, I'm not intimidated by a quote unquote alpha woman. Excuse me. Yeah, that's what I got on that.
Yeah, I haven't never heard of the word either. Probably until recently. Like you said, really didn't know it even existed out there. But in regards to it, I feel as I've met women, and I wouldn't really consider them alpha women. I would more so consider them just women that handle their business. Women that get down to the nitty gritty and do what needs to be done on their own end, take care of their own needs, take care of their own obligations and responsibilities, things like that. But like I said, I wouldn't necessarily call them an alpha woman, and they wouldn't even really consider themselves to be alpha women. In talking to these women, they just consider themselves to be, just a regular woman that's out here handling their business. But when I get to talking to some of them and asking them about relationships or, how have their relationships been in the past or are they in relationships, one thing that I always hear is that a lot of them say that, no, I'm not in a relationship, or I don't have time to be in a relationship, or, too busy, or, I just don't have time for somebody that's not on my level. And so when it comes to being intimidated by an alpha woman, I don't think I'm too chill and laid back that there's not too much stuff that gets on my nerves to bother me. So I don't think I would be intimidated by an alpha woman. But I do believe that in some cases, just based off what the guy was saying too, about the competitive nature and things like that. If a man is intimidated by an alpha woman, I just feel like that means that he has some insecurities. Because if a man's out here doing what he's supposed to be doing, if a man's out here getting it the way he's supposed to be getting it, and if he does have a woman, a lot of times that woman will presume that feminine role because she'll feel comfortable around him enough to let out her feminine side and be a woman, and don't feel like she has to do all these other things or to get his attention to go outside the norm. And so I feel like if a man is out here being intimidated by an alpha woman, he has some insecurities. He needs to look at himself in the mirror and see what's going on, because most men that can carry themselves in the alpha type of way, they're not concerned with what a woman is doing. And a lot of women that do consider themselves to have an alpha male or alpha man in their life, they let that man be the man. They let him be the alpha, and they just kind of be by his side, and they rest in their femininity. So if there's an issue going on, and if he's intimidated by a woman, I just feel like he has some insecurities that he needs to work on internally. And that's what I say on that.
Daryl, you've traditionally have been a leader in your industry. Have you run across the alpha woman? Is she married? Is she single? Is she in a successful relationship? Is that the kind of woman that you run towards, or do you run away from?
Man, this is an exhausting topic. And the reason why I say that, I'm going to address my industry later, but I'm going to go straight to I talk about if you go back to last year when we first started this thing off, man, I emphatically said, if you got to call yourself an alpha woman, you're probably not it. When you walk in your femininity or your masculinity, which I really don't get off into those terms too much, but if you're a man, you're going to be a man about your stuff. If you're a woman, you're going to be a woman about your stuff. At the same time, if you're still trying to identify with a certain title, you're probably not it. Your actions will exude your confidence. Your confidence will show all your swagger, and your swagger will determine who you are. You don't have to announce it. So, speaking of my industry, I'm in the HR field. Been in that field for almost 25 years. And it's a lot of jockeying for position. And you'll see people that will actually get into positions of authority and try to flex real hard. And more so because they're connecting with the title and the power that comes with it. All this alpha this, and it's a power trip. And it's been a power trip from the beginning. And it's because some women want to lord over their men. And then there's some men that just aren't stepping up being men about who they are in relationships. So when you start tossing those terms out, alpha this, masculinity this, it breeds a lot of confusion. Just be a man. Just be a woman. And rest in whatever it is that it takes for you to be in a nice, wonderful relationship that's conducive to growing together. Stop with all the whole title stuff and trying to label yourself. Because if you're labeling yourself, 9 times out of 10 is because you lacking somewhere. And if you're lacking somewhere, that's because maybe growing up, they didn't pick you first. Maybe growing up, you weren't the man or the woman. But now you're in a position of authority because you fighting, and that other word that we talk about so much, independency or independent, you're fighting to be that. All the while you're losing out on all the other stuff that comes with being a beautiful black woman or a beautiful woman, period, whatever you call yourself. So I'm going to rest right there and toss the mic back.
Sure. So I want to give a shout out to Congo English. Thank you so much for your super chat. Intimidated by who? Alpha female, huh? I personally am always interested to see in conversation, especially I'm gonna lean back to what Daryl said. When we first started to Ask a Black Man Anything, one of the things that was a resounding theme or resounding question that we literally got, what fellas, twice a week, maybe? Why are black men intimidated by women? I mean, I think if we had a recording back then on Clubhouse, which is where we originally started before we shifted over to YouTube, you could literally just take our answers and just play that soundbite. Because every week there was another woman who came in and said, "Why are black men intimidated by black women?" And here's something that I've said in jest, but partially seriously. A lot of women ask, "Well, where are the good black men at? Where can I find one?" And women are the new men. They're the providers. The ones that say, "I got my own house, I got my own job, I got my own money." You're the new man, sis. And I stand on that. Especially if that's how you present yourself, right? You present yourself, you got everything, and now you need a man. That's what men used to say, right? You're being what we used to be before we became who we are today, which are evolved men who are now trying to find our space, which is why we have spaces like this, which is why more black men have podcasts now. Several podcasts that I watch, sports guys are doing podcasts. We're doing one, just gentlemen across the board are expressing themselves because this is the space that we need to be in to learn how to express. Shane, what are your thoughts?
So the it's really an A-type personality, right? So the origination of the entire alpha thing came from that study from 1979 on the brother that was not the brother, but the guy that was doing the study on those wolves. He tried to retract it in 1999, saying it was because those wolves were in captivity that they would do that, but in the wild they acted differently, which was kind of debunked because he was just trying to he was trying to release another book. He ran out of money. He made a lot of money on that first book. Listen, confidence is not natural, not to most people, right? To be confident, to step up, to run out and take charge, to jump out into the battlefield in a line of fire is not natural. The human body, our brain is designed and has evolved to protect us from any kind of adversity, right? And the A-type personality, and I did a show on this before. I did a show, taught the alpha male, the beta male, the gamma, delta, and the sigma and the omega, because there's really 6 type of personalities. Alpha is the one that we're commonly used to these days. The A-type personality is more than just confidence, but I mean, confidence is what exudes and what oozes out of a alpha man or woman's personality, right? And so they like you could see the confidence coming from a mile away, right? And they like adversity. They eat adversity for lunch, like an alpha man or alpha woman. When somebody is asked to take charge, like if you had a job, think about when you guys are at work and there's a project to do, and it could be a group project or it may be a single individual project, but this needs to get done. That alpha type personality or that alpha person is the one that steps up and says, I got it. Don't worry about it. They jump up. They're eager to do so because they're good at convening and rallying people around them, and people love to follow them because they're inspiring, right? They make great leaders. Alpha men and alpha women. There's a such thing as alpha women. A lot of people, some brothers don't think there is, but there is a such thing as an alpha woman because it's a personality type. We have to understand that, right? It has nothing to do with a relationship, has little to do with a relationship between man and women, has little to do with romance. It is in fact alpha because it's being a personality type is just an identifier for it. And so do you have the traits of this particular personality. If you do, then that's what we identify or label as an alpha, right? So I applaud alpha women. Like if they want to call it, if I'm an alpha woman, I applaud out because the reality is I'm an alpha man. Y'all know that. We don't even have to discuss on how on even this whole podcast and how this got everything that I just explained. You guys have seen me do, right? And there's women like that too, but I applaud that at work. I applaud that in getting to the bag, if that's what she wants to do. I applaud that in climbing the corporate ladder. I applaud that in the military. You know, to all my soldiers out there, I remember I got my first Article 13 in basic training because I gave Sergeant Battle a compliment on her uniform. Her shit was so crispy clean, and she would put creases in her shit. You know, and women drill sergeants, they got a curve on their head. And I was just a slick 19-year-old. You know, I was like, oh, you know, I like how you look today, Sergeant Battle. I got in trouble for that. They wrote me up for that, for saying that statement. And they used me as an example. Yeah. Remember that? Remember those? And so I got one because I complimented my my drill sergeant. You know, she was a woman. And well, my main drill sergeant was a man, but his assistant drill sergeant, he had like 2 or 3 assistant drill sergeants, and one of them was Sergeant Battle, which was a sister, Black woman. And I complimented her while we was rushing up into the barracks at Fort Leonard Wood.
That's
Fort
where I
Leonard Wood,
went.
Missouri.
But
Yeah.
Lost in the Woods.
Yeah, Lost in the Woods, baby. And when I did that, they wrote me up. Now here's the thing: I got in trouble, came back, and we all got smoked. The whole platoon got smoked, right? But knowing that I was the reason that they was getting in trouble, I was taking like if they had to do X amount of push-ups, I do double of that just to make them, and that's how we worked it out. It was like, okay, so y'all got to do 40 push-ups. I do 80 to make sure that they didn't have to do their 40. And I won the confidence of my platoon. Even though I got in trouble and they got smoked, later on in private conversations, I was the man. 1, because I gave a compliment to her, and 2, because I took some heat for them so they could relax a little bit. Now, women do that at work. I've seen it in the workplace. I've seen it in organizations on campus. I've seen young ladies get involved in school. I've seen sorority members do it. Women take charge. They do. Physicians, doctors, attorneys, all of that stuff, right? But here's something I want to also say. And don't make no mistake. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, Jerron. I'm getting it like I'm supposed to be getting, but I am intimidated. I am intimidated by an alpha woman who brings that shit home. Intimidation, what is that? That's fear, right? Ain't that the definition of intimidation? It's like I'm fearful of you. I'm afraid of something. Am I afraid for my safety? No. Am I afraid for my well-being? No. Am I afraid that my money's going to get snatched away? No. Am I afraid that I'm going to have an issue with a woman and I'm going to be combative and having fights eventually? Yes. I am intimidated for my relationships. I am not so bravado and strong and fucking, you know, beat my chest that I can just tell you there's no protection. The only weapon men have today to protect their sanctity in relationships is their feet. All we could do is walk away. That's all we got, man. We can't beat nobody. We can't yell at nobody now. You can't hold shit back. You can't keep no money. You can't
restrict them. You can't even restrict them from moving.
You can't stand in the doorway.
Nope.
You can't stand in the doorway. There's nothing we can do but walk away. The last weapon that we have against a bad relationship is to walk away. We have our feet. We have choice. That's a powerful weapon, though. Imagine if we would have been taught that a long time ago. That's what.
But doesn't choice and walking away position you as a greater sense of a leader because you're making the wiser decision?
Well, it depends, because were you smart getting in a relationship to begin with? How much of a leader were you if you can't convince your woman to get on your same program? And so I'll wrap it up with this. My intimidation is because I'm fearful of a relationship that might fall apart because I was fooled, bamboozled, didn't know, didn't pay attention to the red flags like I have a propensity to do. And then next thing you know, my heart is broken. I'm fucking pissed off. I'm not as productive in the world as I should be. I'm not thinking straight. I'm fearful for that stuff. I'm intimidated for that. And I tell people all the time, you guys heard me say it on this podcast. You've heard me say it in Clubhouse. I'm going to say it one more time. There's 3 types of relationships, right? There's 3 types. It's one where there's an alpha man in a relationship, and there's a woman who follows because she's submissive to the playbook that family team is playing by. Those relationships tend to last decades and decades and decades. There's another relationship where there's 2 alpha type in the same house, an alpha man and an alpha woman. Where I was talking about all that leadership that she's doing at home, she's bringing it. I mean, that she's doing at work, she's bringing home. But he's a leader too. The thing about it is, oftentimes most women don't know how to turn it off at work, so they bring it home. And now she wants to do, especially if she's making money, especially if she's paying half the bills. Shit, she got half the say. And she wants to, and she doesn't want, the easiest one I use is BMW and Mercedes-Benz. She wants a BMW, but he wants a Mercedes. She says, I want a BMW and I want it white. He says, I want a black Benz. We got to get another car. That's what we getting. She says, no, we not getting that. I don't want a black Benz. My uncle told me Benzes cost too much to maintain. My uncle told me BMWs cost too much to change. What do you decide upon? Now you got 2 people at heads. In those homes, you rarely see it in the street, but there's a lot of infighting. Somebody doesn't want to come home at night. They end up doing extra work. Somebody's sitting in the parking lot or in the driveway, decompressing to prepare to go into the house, right? Because they're butting heads at every turn. Is all she wants, to do. She wants to go on vacation in June. He wants to go in July. And now there's an issue. Those relationships tend to fall apart. Those tend to fall apart usually after, those are those long-term relationships. And you say, damn, why did they break up after 20 years? Y'all was together for 10. Why was you was together for 30 years? Why'd you get a divorce now? Oftentimes somebody changed from who they were. They either got indoctrinated with something or somebody taught them some shit and they lost respect for the other person and they in their alpha personality or trait kind of built up over time and now they're gone. That happens. And then the other relationship is where you have an alpha type woman and a following type man. We call that beta. The beta is following the woman, but those relationships are usually short lasted because the woman doesn't respect him. That's the woman that's going to end up screwing Wes because Wes is going to come in with his alpha type energy and that turns her on while her beta husband's at home cucked doing the dishes. So pick your battles, ladies and gentlemen, but the proof is in the pudding and the stats are out. So alpha type women, for me, I'm a little intimidated by that because I want to protect my sanctity in my castle. And if you bring that energy over here in our personal relationship, then we're going to butt heads because I'm not the beta. So now we either button heads or which one is it? We button heads or you getting on my program? I ain't butting no more heads. So
2 thoughts, and then I'm gonna toss it to you, Wes. I want you to be the first one to answer this question. First, first is a comment. Thank you, Charles, for the $10 super chat. Being an alpha without the skills, experience, tactics, confidence, and compassion is a very dangerous thing. Appreciate you. I'm not gonna do that, woo, because I'm not Ric Flair tonight. So, but yeah, absolutely.
Extremely dangerous.
Woo! That's about as much woo you're gonna get from tonight. But thank you for your $10 super chat. If you want to support Ask a Black Man Anything, I definitely want to throw this out there. It is $, Ask a Black Man Anything, PayPal, Ask a Black Man Anything. And we are soon will have Zelle set up, and it will be askablackmananything@gmail.com. So just FYI, if you want to support this show and you want to send any type of love offering or any type of gift or donations to us, by all means, Ask a Black Man Anything. Here's the deal. If you're in the comments, right, or you're watching the show and you identify with any of this, if you identify with an alpha woman, if you have a thought and you want to join the conversation that we're having tonight, right here above my head, right there above my head, you want to click that link. It's actually going to pop up in the comments, call.aabma.live. We welcome you to join our show, join this band of brothers that is here, and you can literally have this conversation with us. We'll be welcome to gather. We'll welcome you for about another 20 minutes before we jump to our next section. If you happen to have a question, here's what we want to do. Right there above me, right here, questions@aabma.live. Any question that you email to us, we will answer live. If you send it after the show, we will answer it next week. So make sure you tune in next week to get your questions answered by all of these upstanding Black men. With that being said, Wes, alpha women, do they thrive in your experience? Have you found one that that's been thriving in a relationship? Have you been able to say what?
You see that comment under you? Put it back up, Colin. Address that when after Wes, so I can.
Sounds made up. Okay, I'll just okay, Wes, and leave it up there, Colin. Wes, have you found it? Are you the sit back and I'm in love with you and so it's all peace? It's all peace, baby. Or are you the more dominant role? In a relationship, where do you land? Yeah, and have you found a lady that's a alpha woman that's trying to, make you submit?
So I'm typically a more dominant person in a relationship. That being said, I have dated alpha women, or what society would deem as alpha women, because of how they show up in their work life and workspace and that kind of thing. And I have also had contention, so to speak, those women in relationship. However, what I know now is
not a surprise. Surprise. Really?
However, Darth Vader. I absolutely, I definitely feel you and agree with you, Shan. But what I would have to say is, for myself, if I'm being honest, the issues that when I look back at them now, the issues that we had in a relationship, I think could have been attributed to a woman, if to that relationship, if that woman was not that A-type, and that's because of what I lacked. So I was still the common denominator, and I think when I look back now in the moment, I absolutely would have been like, oh yeah, it's competitive. She's alpha, and it's not gelling with me the whole night. But now, I think that that my lack of tools and my lack of patience and my lack of understanding or willingness to understand was probably as detrimental to the relationships as that woman's as how she showed up, so to speak, if that makes any sense.
It does. I just don't think that that's what contributed to her personality and the conflicts that you potentially had. So what you're saying is, well, you know what? Okay, well, let me be clear. Are you saying that her alpha type personality showed up because you were an asshole?
No. I'm saying that those women who definitely were alpha outside of the relationship. What I'm saying is that the issues we had in the relationship, I automatically attached that to them being alpha. And when I look back now, because I didn't have the patience.
You retracting that?
Well, what do you mean?
We can keep it simple.
But
So now that you look back in hindsight, are you saying it wasn't because they were alphas, because you were the problem?
in hindsight, right, right. All I mean that I can't pinpoint it no more. That was the problem. Perhaps if I had the tools, perhaps if I had the patience.
Why you just couldn't say you was right then, and you still was fucked up, but you was still right? You don't want to do that?
Wait. Say that again. That I was right.
The relationship failed because they was too much of button heads with problems and all that alpha shit that they was doing outside the relationship. They was bringing in a relationship, and that was an issue. Even though you still was a problem, it still was because of how they were doing that the relationship kind of failed. You don't want to say. You're saying what exactly?
Well,
you're saying now it's a little bit of everybody's fault, or it's all your fault?
Yeah. No, I'm saying because of what I lacked. I cannot put the blame on them and what I saw as an alpha woman bringing it into the relationship. I'm just, and I'd have to relive and revisit those relationships, and perhaps.
Got it. No, yeah. I got you because I know Chris want to move. So here's a question for you. Answer this. Now that you have the tools and now that you know better, you'd still date that same personality? Because now you're well equipped and you're smarter and you got more wisdom and you've learned so much since then. And now that you identified the problems, you would welcome that alpha person, now that boss chick, into your relationship and into your life and into your house, right? Yes? Or no?
So let me. I mean, and then I'll give it back to you, Chris. But what I would say is, because I'm tempted to say that I wouldn't, but what I recognize now, though, is that there are a lot of beautiful, great qualities in an alpha woman that I like: tenacity, resilience, drive, passion. I love all of that shit, and I've been in relationships with women who did not have that. So if I had a choice between a woman who didn't have it and who was going to be completely agreeable, and I had an alpha woman, a woman who was assertive, who was who had all of these things, but maybe she needed to tame that in a relationship, I'm gonna take the woman who has those things, that has that passion and drive and all of those things, and then see if I can work my tools and we can come to a happy place in a relationship.
All right. So you take the alpha woman over a woman that'll follow you blindly. I got you. All right, cool.
So here's the thing. So I found myself dating, in dating. I'll tell you no lie. I met several women that watched the show Bridgerton. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but it's set in England, and they call the gentleman Lord, right? And the ladies are called Miss, whatever their last name is, or by their first name or what have you. Here's the thing that I bring that out because I saw something. I'm actually going, okay. I'm going to bring this out because I think it's really, really poignant for this point. And here's the question that I want to ask, and I'm going to frame it, and then I'm going to jump to this comment, and I'm also going to bring up our guest that's in the green room, right? I'm going to do.
You can skip the comment. You can skip the comment.
Okay, cool.
It looked like I see BGS is in the audience and Charles is in the audience. So and Ace is in the audience. So those three brothers, they got that under control. We can keep going.
Cool. Okay, so on the show, the young lady that was intended for the Viscount was the guy said, "You're so agreeable," right? And I want to bridge the gap, right? The question is, have you found that alpha women are agreeable, right? And here's what I mean by agreeable. The young lady said to the Viscount, I can't remember whatever her name was, somebody who watches Bridgerton. Y'all tell me, it wasn't the older sister, it was the younger one. She said to the Viscount, she said, "While I'm agreeable, I also have my own pursuits, and I love reading, and I found other things to take up whatever, so I don't have to basically argue all the time. I can learn to be agreeable." And before you guys answer that, I want to welcome, is it Tyrolyn? Is that Tyrolyn? How do you say that?
Tyrolyn.
Tyrellin. Okay, so I'm going to
Tyrellin.
come to you in just a minute, Tyrellin. Can I shorten and call you Ty so I don't butcher it?
No.
Okay, no problem.
Huh?
I want to ask say it again for me.
Tyrellin.
Tyrellin.
It's like
Okay,
it's like Ireland with a T.
perfect. I got it.
Tyrellin, can you
Tyrellin,
do me a favor and rotate your phone landscape, please?
Like this. Wait, hold up.
There
Yep.
you go.
Yeah.
Did I do it? No.
Yeah, there
Right
you go.
there.
That's it. No. You have
Here?
it. There we go.
There you
Perfect.
go.
Because now I can't see myself, but that's perfectly fine. I don't need to. Right?
Perfect.
Yeah,
Do
you're
me
fine.
a huge favor. I want you to mute your mic. I'm going to welcome you to our show, Tyrellin. And I'm going to come to you in just a moment. Welcome to Ask a Black Man Anything. Thank you for joining us. So, fellas, do you find that the alpha woman is agreeable? Shahid, is she agreeable?
I already said I don't even know what an alpha woman is, so I have no
Fair
idea.
enough. Wes, is she agreeable?
Is she agreeable?
Yeah. Like, instead of arguing, instead of butting heads, does she say, you know what? Okay.
Agreeable. That's funny. That's a personality type, agreeableness. That's classified. I know Jerron know about it, but that's a classified personality type. That's one of the reasons why women get paid less than men. But that's a whole different argument.
Wow.
Is the alpha woman agreeable?
I think she can be.
On a regular, consistent basis. Let's go with that.
Maybe not.
Jerron, is the alpha woman agreeable?
Hey, man. Hey, many women are not agreeable in general, so
Right.
I wouldn't say so.
Shan, you gonna round us out? Is the alpha woman agreeable?
No.
I'm not.
No, she's not agreeable.
I am still here, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know. I mean, you said
You want to play the producer? Come on, Ken.
you executive producing back there, man. So
What's the question?
Is the alpha woman agreeable?
No.
There's your answer. Welcome
Just
back
like Tyrellin. Just like when you asked Tyrellin, could you shorten her name? She said no. Ain't no negotiating. My name is Tyrellin.
We don't negotiate with terrorists, right?
My name is Tyrellin, not Ty.
Big facts.
No.
Big facts. So Tyrellin, again, welcome to Ask a Black Man Anything. How did you want to join? Oh, and Jackie. Hey, Jackie. I'm going to come to you right after we share with Tyrellin. So welcome, Tyrellin and Jackie, to Ask a Black Man Anything. I want to welcome you ladies both to our phenomenal show. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tyrellin, how did you want to add to the conversation, or did you have a question?
No, I don't have a question, and I do want to add. But first thing I want to add is the fact that I wouldn't let you shorten my name had nothing to do with me not being agreeable, had everything to do with respect.
Right.
And I mean, that's any man on the street. Now, with that said, let me add to the fact that you said alpha women are not agreeable, alpha females. I've been an alpha all of my life, but not by choice, because of who my daddy was, who my brothers were, my uncles, you name it. My daddy told me, don't let nobody park nothing in front of your yard that you can't drive, because you never know when you're going to need to get away. So he made sure that I was very self-sufficient. Now, I also know what alpha male, alpha female looks like in a relationship. And it is possible to have a successful relationship, because the alpha female is much like the lioness. We all have our roles. You understand your role, you understand the assignment, and you act accordingly. In a household, I don't care what you're controlling outside of the household. Once you come inside the household, for the alpha male, it's to provide, it's to protect, it's to provide security, it's to love, because he knows that's what she needs. Her role also, in a way, is to protect, because alpha females are nurturers. It is to provide certain things because she has to provide security and safety for him because she has to protect his heart. That's why God used the rib, because the rib protects the vital organs of the man, and that's her job.
What you
Now,
just described was a woman, not an alpha woman. That was just a woman.
no, because a lioness is also an alpha, just not with her man, because she goes out there, she hunts for food, she takes care of the young, and it's not a whole bunch of lionesses that are managing all the other. It's one,
Stand your face.
you know. So what I'm
Let
saying,
me ask you a quick question.
yeah,
You said you're alpha woman, right?
yeah,
You
that's
said
what
based
I've been
upon.
told.
Oh, that's what they told you.
Yeah, I mean, because I do have confidence and I do have a tendency to control things. And yeah, I'm pretty good at a lot of things.
Okay. Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Have you been in a long-term relationship longer than 10 years?
I have been, yes.
And did he run away because he felt like he couldn't take it no more, or was it just a mutual ending?
It was a mutual ending because I did what I was supposed to do. He cheated.
Of course.
I mean, and when I say I did what I was supposed to do, I did what I was supposed to do. I still was out there and, in the boardrooms running things. I came home, I cooked, I cleaned, I took care of the kids. I
Let
made
me ask you one
sure.
more question.
Yeah.
Here's the most important question I'm gonna ask you, because a lot of women say things like, "I did what I was supposed to do," and generally that is, and this is not an attack, and I don't want you to feel that way at all, right? This is literally me just asking you a question to kind of keep the conversation going, right? A lot of women that we've met on, and I'll say it on in this context, a lot of women that we've met on this show that will typically come, or they'll DM us on Instagram, they'll email us, they'll talk to us on Clubhouse, they'll say things like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And what that means is they're doing what they're taught and not what they've ever asked the man that he needs. So, my question is, let me finish. Don't cut me off yet. My question
I know
is,
what your question is, but go ahead.
what's my question? Let me see if you know what my question is.
You hinted to it when you said
No,
they never asked.
no soliloquy. What's my question?
Oh no. Did I ask him what he needed and did I cater to that?
Did you ask him?
Oh, absolutely.
And he told you he wanted you to cook and clean and take
Oh,
care of the kids.
I didn't say that's all that I did. I ran his schedule. Till today, he still can't sign up for his own insurance at his job.
So when he called the doctors and they asked for a job, he called you and you said,
Yes.
"What is that?"
Yes. So, but honestly, in situations, and Wes said this earlier, he was just not at a place, not Wes, but he was not at a place where he was secure enough to handle that. And he had some childhood trauma and some other things that I couldn't fix for him.
Of course he did.
Well, I mean, he does. I'm a therapist. So
that's a whole nother level of conversation I don't want to dive into. Because I've dated therapists before, and here's what I found sometimes in my life, that therapists like to do what I call therapize. And I can't stand it. And I tell women, leave your job at your job and leave all that rest of that stuff to me. Give me 1 second before
I didn't do that because
I'm not saying you. I'm
right.
just saying that's been my experience. So you see, I took ownership of it. Real quick. Jackie, real quick, Tyrone. Jackie Way, I want to bring you to the conversation because I don't want you to be there. I want to join you. Now you know you got to pay us to advertise your show on our show. You know that, right?
I'm an alpha female. I leave my logo where it's at.
Oh, okay. Well, let's take her off the camera. Let's take her off the camera. Bye. I'm with that.
Jackie.
Put you in the green room. No, I'm just teasing. But yeah, you shouldn't retort back like that. You might not get welcome back. Welcome to Ask a Black Man Anything. We're happy to have you. Because I can go with the best of them. So we're gonna keep it right here.
I'll let you know when I start shaking.
I'm not looking for you to shake, sweetheart. I'm not looking for you to shake. But let me ask: are you married, Jackie?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, cool.
But see, that's the problem, though.
You guys,
y'all got to stop watching Kevin Samuels. That's first and foremost.
Well,
he's
don't bring his name up because that's not why I'm asking you.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the problem that men have when they talk about when that's the first thing that they ask women. First and foremost, you're assuming that you don't know what my goals are. You don't know if marriage is even my goal. You don't know where I'm at in my life. And so you're assuming that because I'm a woman, my goal in life is to be married. And you're assuming that based on
you're absolutely wrong.
No, I'm not. Because I don't watch the show. I don't watch the show.
I just asked you if you were married because I asked Tylerlyn if she was married. I asked her the same question. I didn't assume that was her goal. I never said that. See, here's the thing. You're projecting that I assume.
Why ask a question if it's not relevant?
It was relevant. I had a follow-up. But since you wanted to jump down my throat, I'm going to let you have it. Because here's the thing. I'm not here to argue with you, but you want to come here to be alpha. That's cool.
No, I'm saying is if you have a question that's relevant, then ask that question.
It was.
If I ask a person who's married, my next question is going to be why not? And in order to ask me why not, then you need to know what my goal is. I've watched this show more than a few times, but go ahead.
That's cool. Listen, you got it. Because you came with your gloves.
Chris, let her finish, Chris.
I mean, I'm cool. I'm just letting her know. Hey, listen,
I know, but just let her finish.
So welcome, like I said, welcome to Ask a Black Man Anything. How did you want to join the show?
Well, I was asked to join the show based on a comment that I put up. So do you want to go ahead and talk about that comment, or do you want?
Can you find her comment? Can you find it for us, Colin?
Yeah, I invited her up.
No, I'm saying, can you find her comment?
Which one?
I have no idea. She said she was asked based on her comment.
You know what you said?
She said it seems like it's being made up.
See right
there? Jackie, you know what you said. Just simply repeat what you said.
Well, basically, I said what you're saying about alpha females. So alpha females, first and foremost, I think a lot of the ways that you are describing them are, when you said projecting, I think what you're doing is projecting, because especially Black women, we have to go out, and the fight that we have on a daily basis in this world is very, very real. Same as a Black man, the fight that you have in this world is very, very real. So for two people who have to go out and fight each and every day, the goal needs to be to come home and have a safe space. So don't no woman want to go out and tell folks what to do and fight each and every day and then come home and do that either. That's not what a woman wants to do. On the flip side, though, especially if she's an alpha female, what she's not going to do is let the household go to waste, the needs go to waste, and she's going to run things if they need to be. But having a woman that wants to take off her armor and you making her feel that she can, that should be the goal for you guys. I'm hearing a lot of what women should have for goals. A lot of women are single because at this point in the game, we realize that a lot of people are confusing alpha male and caveman. Those are two totally different mentalities. And I'm hearing a lot of caveman mentality. An alpha man knows that he and his woman need to sit down and say, this is what I need. Okay, cool. What do you need? Okay, cool. This is how we can meet together. Or on the flip side, no, we can't meet in the middle. So we should probably go our separate ways. That's boss energy on both sides. I don't entirely know what energy y'all are talking about, but it's not alpha.
I agree.
Shaheed, what's up, man?
Oh, I've nothing really. I've never watched a Kevin Samuels episode of my life. That's all.
I don't even get the context. Like, where did that come from? I asked the question because I asked Tylerlyn the same question. It was relevant to me.
But
what she said is very, very true. I wear a cape every day I walk outside the door. True. But you have your own Superman suit on, and I shared an image, a meme a while ago. Can't even remember what it was, but it was the guy, and he had the Superman. He was opening his shirt, and the alpha female was standing at his side, supporting, holding, catering, whatever. That was the appearance, and she said, "This is where I am until he can't." And when he can't, you see her coming out of hers and flying off in the suit. But that's only when he can't, because we get tired too. I want to come home and throw all that stuff on the floor and just crawl up in somebody's lap and exhale for a minute.
Then that's not an alpha woman.
So
Oh,
let
no,
me
no,
ask
no,
this question.
no.
Why is that not an alpha woman?
You don't understand what an alpha woman is if you really don't think that's an alpha woman.
Right. You
I
really
understand
don't.
it. I teach it. I know it. I talk about it every day. I know exactly what it is.
There's a
So
lot
Shan,
of
but
projectors
why
that
is
are
that
teaching
not
the
The
wrong
woman that
thing.
wants to come home and take it all off and fall up under his leadership, that's not an alpha woman.
Then what
That's
is
not
it?
that's not
Yes,
even the
it
trait.
is.
That's not even the trait of an
Then-
alpha, of
then
an
what
A-type
is it?
personality. An A-type personality, as I explained earlier, is somebody who's assertive. They look forward to adversity because they know that they can take care of it. They're eager to lead. They're eager to take charge. In fact, they look for problems, they look for chinks in the armor, and then they repair them. That's what they
Oh,
do.
and I do
But-
that. And I do that. But just because I have the ability to do that does not mean that I cannot be vulnerable. Because guess what? The alpha male has to be vulnerable too, and is vulnerable at times. And if he is not with an alpha female who can very much face adversity when it comes up, then they both lost.
Right.
And then what you gonna do?
So here's the question I want to ask to both of you ladies. And I want to ask because I think both of you are saying the same thing in reference to you both want to be able to come home and kind of take off your superwoman, right? Is that correct? Both. Okay. So
If I
that
have
was
to.
If-
If I have
right.
to. But if
right.
my man
That's
needs
fine.
me, if my
Just
man
real
needs
quick.
me to cape up, I will.
Slow down real quick. Pump the brakes.
Get
Use
to the
it. Use
point,
emergency
sir.
brake. Just a little bit. I promise you, I'm not pouncing, right?
Yeah,
My name ain't Marquise. I'm not pouncing. So the follow-up question to that is, and I think I heard you, Jackie, say it first. And tell me, Tyrone, if you agree with her comment. She said, for the right man, that I'll do that. Is that correct, Jackie? You said that?
Well, for the right man should be across the board. It has nothing to do with alpha female or not. Like you need the right partner, period. Because if you got the wrong partner, that's just going to be chaotic, period. That has nothing to do with alpha female. The right partner is going to balance.
My question is that you'll let your guard down for the right man. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll do a lot of things for the right man.
Okay. So let me then ask this question, because to me, I think that's one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever heard. That I'll do this for the right man versus this is who I actually am, and I don't have to live in that alpha or that strong energy. You don't have to. You can choose. That's a choice, right? What if a man said to you? Let me ask my question.
That's a little disingenuous, though. That's a little
Very much so.
Very much so.
That's okay, but I'm gonna ask my question. So, how would you feel if a man said to you that I'll be masculine for the right woman? How would you take that? How would you ladies take that?
I would be perfectly fine with that, because you know what?
Same thing, though.
It's not the same thing. And if I'm not that woman, then by all means, go find the woman that will be. Because
you know what?
Jackie said that boss moves.
I'll leave for the right woman.
Well, Jackie said boss moves. We sit down, we have a conversation. What do you need? Okay, I can do that. You tell them what you need. If he can do it, then y'all move along, y'all build together, fine. But if you have those conversations at the beginning and realize that you are not equipped to meet each other's needs, then you move on to the next. Ain't nobody got time to be wasting time in a relationship that's going nowhere, but you do that up front. So when your question about the right man, hell, for all of us, it's either the right man or the right woman that you're gonna spend your time putting your energy into building a life with. I'm not just gonna walk up on the street because I feel like I'm not having my alpha female energy today and see that dude that has the can trying to get quarters from everybody. Okay, we can be together because I don't have my alpha energy on today. That's BS.
No,
Right.
That's not what I was saying. I wasn't saying it at all. But
your analogy
what were you saying?
so. What I was gonna what I was going to say was I hear you, but it's disingenuous to make that
Parallel?
that assumption that because what you're confusing or what you conflated, I think, in my opinion, is you conflated being feminine and said, okay, well, that because maybe that's something that's another topic where you talk about whether or not this is something that you're in the state of being all the time. But being feminine and being an alpha woman are two different things. And so an alpha woman, that's something that an armor perhaps that she may put on and take off, and it doesn't make her any less alpha to take it off. To your point, Shan, because you said it like it's an absolute. Like if she takes it off,
if I said
she can't possibly.
You know that.
But you said specifically that she's not an alpha woman if she takes it off. And that's crazy because that's like to say that an alpha man is not an alpha man.
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. See, but there is no taking that off. That jacket that's not a coat that you wear when you feel like it.
But we're human beings, though. We all fluctuate.
That's my point.
Through
That's
emotions
exactly my
and feelings.
Point. That personality types is not something that you get to just be. That you get to just say, you know what, I'm gonna flip this off right now, and this is not something that you take off. You don't. I don't take. I can't.
But it's a spectrum.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of credit on that, just because you're
a
wrong.
You don't have to give it to me.
You're wrong, but hold on. Wait, let me tell you what you're trying to say, where you're right.
No. You don't have to tell me what I'm trying to say. I know how to say what I need to say.
Okay, well then you're completely wrong. So let me tell you where you're wrong then. Because for example, the man that I date, hold on.
You're not gonna come in here. Listen, hold on. Let me put you on mute. Let me just, in case you didn't know, I'm the producer over here. So let me just hush you up. You don't come over here talking over me. We don't do that here. If I'm speaking and then you interrupt me, I'm gonna stop you. You can take that alpha shit somewhere else. That's number one. Number two, back to Wes, who I was speaking with. Back to Wes, who I was speaking with. Wes, what you're saying is that the woman that comes and takes it off, I'm saying no. She doesn't just take it. An alpha personality trait that's who that person is. A beta personality, a sigma personality, omega personality. You know what I'm saying? A gamma personality is who that person is. Now, what she had explained was, she said she can be alpha, but she would prefer. She talked about her preference. She would prefer to come home and be and relax and let her man take care of everything, and that's what she does. Maybe she's with guys that's not producer males, as I call them, right? She's with a guy so she'll come home and see shit ain't done, and he didn't do the things that he was supposed to do. He said he was gonna knock that out. He didn't. This bill ain't paid. He didn't. He hanging out with his boys, and so she snaps into action and has got to do this stuff. She's forced to do it because he's not doing it. That's completely different than what she would prefer to do. What I'm saying, an A-type personality wouldn't prefer to just chill and kick back. That's not how that works. A-type personality is somebody who prefers to be producer, be leaders, be in charge, take care of stuff, is always figuring out to make things that are good even better. Better things, the best. That's how they are naturally.
I get that. What I'm saying is that it's a spectrum. And even with that particular personality, everyone wants a little reprieve sometime from whatever their situation is.
Right. A little rest and relaxation.
That's right. So a woman can absolutely be an alpha woman and still want a reprieve, still want to come home and hand it over to someone else who is competent.
Let me say this, Wes. It's not disingenuous for me to say and I'm not saying it's the reverse. I'm just saying, how would that sound if a man said, I'll be masculine or I'll be a leader for the right person?
Right, we're getting feedback.
That's the question I'm asking.
I don't know what that is.
You said you got feedback?
We're getting feedback.
Somebody's mic was turned up.
No. So then I'll let the conversation move forward. Chris, what I'm saying is, so like you just talked about, well, what if a man said masculine? But the reality of it is that the question was about an alpha woman, not about a feminine woman, and whether or not.
That's correct. And so what I'm saying to you is this: I've never met a man that said he's a man that's not in a relationship with a woman that says I'm not a masculine man. And so I'm not trying to.
And she didn't say that.
I'm not.
I got you.
Listen, I'm not trying to make it spaghetti. I'm just saying, what if a man said this, and how would you respond?
But he
That's my
didn't. But
question.
she did not say that. She did not say I'm not feminine, and therefore
You're still missing my point, Wes. You're still
no,
missing my point. My point is not what she said. My point is, what if a man said this to you? How would you respond?
But Chris,
That's
how
my.
could?
That's
But you
my
said,
question.
But
Chris, you said
I
that
get
it
what
was
you're
crazy.
saying, but how would you
said that
respond?
but you said that what she said was crazy, and she did not say what
I
you
do think it's
conflated.
crazy. I do.
Right,
I
but
She
do
didn't
think
say
it's
what you
crazy.
said.
how can
I
we?
do think it's crazy that a woman would
Go ahead,
say,
Shahid.
"Oh, I'll learn how to relax for the right man." I think that's a crazy statement. Absolutely.
Shahid,
No,
wait, y'all,
no,
listen.
That don't make no sense.
Excuse me. We need some order on the stage.
Nah.
Go ahead, Shahid.
No, I was just asking Chris, how are we paralleling two opposing? They're not even. The
I'm
same.
not, no, so I'm not paralleling. What I'm saying
Yeah,
is,
but
she
Chris,
said this.
Chris, I know you need to be right, but listen.
No,
No, listen to me. Chris, listen to your boy. Listen to your boy.
Tyrone, go ahead. What were you saying?
When you say
After
when
Chad.
Tyrone says what she said, and then you turn around and say that's crazy,
What
then you turn around and ask a completely different question. That it was on the heels of alpha beta. You came with masculine and feminine, and they were bumped up to each other. So it gave the
I'm
impression
aware of
that
that.
you were okay. I'm just saying. So do you understand why all 8 of us saw what Wes is saying, and then you not may I get what you're saying. My question ain't got nothing to do with the alpha beta. I was talking about masculine and feminine, but you said what she said about alpha beta was crazy, and then you say, so let me ask you this then, and then you ask a completely different question that you're now saying has nothing to do with that. That's why everybody's tripping.
No, I get that, right? I completely get that, but that still doesn't take away that I had that question. How would you feel if a man that you met said that, right?
Okay, but you still haven't identified. Okay, you say you get it. Do you? Are you saying okay, I was wrong? Because it's not hard. It's not hard to do that. It goes like this. Okay, I see what you guys was doing. My bad. I'm wrong.
I just said that. I said I get
No,
that.
you didn't. I didn't hear that. Did anybody else hear that? I didn't hear that.
I said I get that.
I didn't hear that.
We got it on record. I said I get that.
No, okay, do it again for the old man. I didn't hear.
I understand what you're saying.
That was my example.
So for me, man, I think I don't think
so
it's
you
crazy.
just can't say I'm wrong, huh, Chris? You don't. You're allergic to that.
No, I'm not.
Okay, give it a shot. I know you understand. I heard that.
Is there a different analogy?
No, because my question is that's my question.
Chris. You can do it. I have faith in you.
But Chris, what is your question bouncing off of? Like where
it wasn't. That's what I'm saying. It's not related to that.
He said it's standalone. It's standalone.
It's
That's what he said.
Right. It's a standalone question.
Standalone.
I understand that you all thought I was trying to tie the two. I was not. So and I understand that in what you thought. I was incorrect for trying to tie the two, but I was not.
Got it. We heard it. All right, we can move on. I heard it. I heard he said I was incorrect.
Okay.
I don't think it's crazy. Oh, go ahead. Try it.
No, I heard him. Shahid. He stuck it in there.
I was saying something completely, well, not different, but I was on. For me, I don't think it's. I think we have to be careful in some of the language we use because for me, I've dealt with a lot of women in my day, and I've used this story on the show a few times where I had a peer. And it was a lot of women around and everything, and he would always have conversations with me about how the women, they always seem to gravitate towards me, right? But with him, it's like they heart, you know what I mean? Like, damn, you get all the women, yada yada yada. And I told him, I'm like, yeah, because my energy is different from yours. Every time that I'm around these women, I'm not trying to get in their pants, and you are. So they feel more comfortable in my presence because they feel more secure, they feel more safe. So that's an example of women doing certain things for the right man. You know what I mean? Like every woman is not going to be, it would be crazy to think of a woman that's the same way for every man. I don't want no parts of a woman like that. That's insanity to me. To see a woman behaving in the same manner across the board with men. I know I've had conversations with men that we might have you know, may have crossed paths with some of the same women at some point, and they like, oh, she this, she that, and I'm like, hey, you might not have what it takes to get her to do what it do. You know what I mean? So that's what, if for those that don't understand, that's what the women are saying for the right man. For anybody that wasn't following that.
Right.
That's
Right.
up. That's exactly right.
Right. And what I was saying was, I wasn't saying that when I walk through the door, I want to take my type A personality off. I'm super competitive, but I'm competitive in everything. I'm a problem solver in everything. So I'm going to put the same stock, the same energy into making sure that my household is right as I do to make sure that I'm making money for the people that I'm working for or making money for myself. So just because I walk through the door and not drop my type A personality, but hang my cape up and crawl into his lap for a minute, that don't mean that I left that type A. That just means that in that moment, at that time, I need to draw from his energy because I've given almost everything that I had to whatever I was doing outside. But my competitive nature is also going to be so that my house, my man, my kid, whatever we're building is going to be successful. And see, that's where people get it wrong. That's where they get it twisted. They believe that with the alphas, it's all about control.
Right.
It's not about control. We each control things that are within our locus of control, but it's things that we agree on together that's going to help us build. So I am not, absolutely will not agree with the fact that I can't be a type A and competitive in my household, focused on successfully doing what needs to be done in my household because I'm still going to be competitive and I still need to get that right. Because if I love that man and that man loves me, then we're going to do whatever it takes. And a lot of people don't fight for what goes on inside of their houses. They're too busy fighting for that stuff outside.
I think that's why two alpha personalities work well together. Personally, I don't know how it's this big thing because like my dude, like he'll let me know, babe, you're doing this. This is where you're failing. This is where I think you should step up. This is what you need to do. This is where I can help. And at the same time, he's in communications, and I had to get on him today. Like, babe, I ain't seen you post nothing about this topic, this topic, this topic. Let's get it. And then at the end of the day, we come home and it's like, this is what I went through. This is what frustrated me today. And it's mutual. It's how can I help? We're always in the fight, but when you have two alphas and they fighting together, that's a beautiful thing. And at the same time, when he's weak, I'm strong. When I'm strong, he's weak. It is a team. I don't know why people think that an alpha woman can't be submissive when she needs to, because first of all, we are women. We are nurturers by choice. But y'all might take that nurturing as controlling or whatever. We want to see our man succeed. Most Black women want to see Black men succeed, period. We always rooting for y'all because that's just who we are. And so when you get into that relationship and when you have that bad day and you can come home and, as you want to say, take that armor off because you need to, because this world done ran you down and you need to be soft and have that weak moment, you can't do that with a man who's not an alpha. Because a man who's not an alpha, you got to make sure that you checking on everybody else. So those two alphas together, that's how those what move to better. A lot of this is different. There's caveman and then there's alpha. An alpha man and an alpha woman together, that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman coming home and decompressing and like just letting it down. Like you said, it does. I mean, life in general is stressful. And even the most strongest people, man or woman, they're going to go through some trials and tribulations in their life that they're going to need to lean on other people. But you said something that I think is key. If you're an alpha woman, or if you're a woman that carries yourself in that type of way, when you come home, you want to come home to somebody that's an alpha male. that you feel comfortable with, that letting your guard down and being in your most vulnerable state, where you can go and sit in that man lap and just kind of decompress about maybe what you've gone throughout the day or what's going on in your life at that particular time. But you just can't do that with any type of man. It has to be an alpha man because, as you just stated,
Yep.
you don't feel
That's
comfortable
it.
doing that with just any type of man.
Yep.
It has to be somebody that's strong minded, strong willed, and that's the alpha male.
100%.
Can we change the subject?
And all alpha males, and for the record,
Absolutely.
all alpha males
Did,
aren't
did
alpha
we get the other
males.
gentleman that came up?
Right. There's a difference between alpha and caveman for sure.
Right. And Charles, no, all alpha women don't pick betas. I can't deal with a beta because if somebody is constantly telling me yes, they're boring, they get on my nerves, and they got to get out the door. I need somebody to be able to tell me no. And he has to be an alpha in order for me to be able to take it. But I will take it if I feel safe enough and secure enough in our relationship. So yeah, ain't nobody want no beta man.
Well, Charles also said alpha women can't be submissive, so I don't know how much.
Oh,
Grain of salt. Grain of
grain of
salt.
salt. Grain of salt.
All right, ladies. Chris, are we at an impasse?
Yep. I want to thank. Yep. I was just waiting for that moment right there. Definitely, Tyrellin and Jackie. I want to thank you all for joining. Ask a Black Man Anything. You're welcome to stay on cam. Just ask you to mute your mics. We're gonna switch to our next part. We have two questions that were one question that was emailed to us. And then I'm going to present a situation to the fellas, and I'm actually do that first. So my Morehouse brother and his wife have been married for about 20 years, and I want to get you guys' opinion on this. They've been married for about 20 years. Come this year, this summer, and the wife calls me and says, "Hey, I'm driving to Atlanta from New Jersey, which is roughly about 800 miles." And I'm gonna drive back to New Jersey after a week, bringing my daughter down. Can you help me drive back to New Jersey because my husband is not coming? And I had 1,000 questions. I'm ready to fire up my phone and be like, "Hey, let me get off the phone. Let me call him and find out why he's not, in this role." And it is kind of crazy because it kind of ties into tonight's conversation about being a leader in your home, right? Being a protector and a provider. What do you guys think he should have done differently? Or how do you think he should have done differently in reference to his wife driving to Atlanta and he's able to take off work? That's number one. And then number two, what advice, because I already know what I'm going to say, but what advice would you give to him that maybe maybe I need to tell you what I'm going to say to him first, but what advice would you give to him if this was your friend?
Before we answer, you tell us what you going to do.
She asked me not to call him, so I can kind of give it some context. She asked me not to call him before she came down, because she didn't want me to show a rift into the house. So I'll respect that, right? So when I get up there, I'm going to ask him, why is he not, driving with his wife or putting her on the flight and him driving down? It's the first thing I'm going to ask him. Why is he not leading and him not calling me and saying, these are the arrangements that I made to make sure that my wife and children are safe? Because I'm sure it's not an income. He works for Bloomberg News, and I know him, right? I know him and his financial ability, right? So I know it's not a money issue with wanting to come down to Atlanta. And then I'm gonna say some other personal things that I won't stay on air because this is a coveted relationship. So, but I'm definitely I'm gonna dig into it.
Are you gonna help her out?
Absolutely, I have to, because that's family. So,
what do you mean family? Family, like how? What do you mean family?
I've known him for 20. Well, I've known them both about 25 years.
Oh, okay. No, I'm thinking related. I'm thinking related. Like it's not a cousin or nothing like that.
No. So it's similar to like if your frat brother would call and y'all pledge together. It's similar to that.
But he's your friend.
Yeah, he's my friend. Well, both of them are my friends. I know
But
them both.
but is he your friend first?
Yeah, I met him first. Absolutely.
And did you meet her through him?
I met her at church, and then I met them as a couple.
In any scenario, I would say, do not call that man.
Oh,
Do
I'm
not
not. That's already out. I'm not calling him.
do not assist that woman. Do
Wow.
not well, everything
do
else
it.
is a do not, even but it doesn't happen if you don't assist her. But because if you did assist her, do not have a conversation with that man about him and his household and his wife. But
Oh, let me give you that context. Over the course of the 25 years, we've always been helping each other in our relationships, in our marriage. So let me give that
okay,
context.
then stop that. Don't do that no more.
Okay. Okay.
Just wisdom. Everybody, like, you don't know what stones you're gonna uncover. What and here's the other thing. Just you attempting to assist her, you don't know what people tell each other in their homes. And sometimes it's some of the nastiest, meanest things that get shared. And sometimes it's not even in words. Sometimes it's just little hints. And so, because you don't know you might know them personally in in a dynamic of your individual relationship with them, or the collective. But what you don't know is how they relate to one another. You don't know who wants to make the other one jealous, and you could just end up involving yourself in that's really not worth your time, and ultimately still will could destroy those relationships, their relationship, as well as your individual and collective relationship. So the wisdom from
Yeah,
from the
for me,
LG.
it's, this situation is a little odd because it don't even sound like he's really involved whatsoever. It just sounds like she's doing something and she needs your help. But for me, uh, there's no such thing as a direct line. When I'm in a relationship, or when my friend or brother or whoever is in a relationship with a woman, I don't have a direct line to his woman. I don't care how cool we are or whatever. He's always going to be that middleman. If I need to talk to her directly, I'm going to talk to him first. I'm never going to go to that woman first, and without that man's knowledge, and vice versa. It's just a respect thing. So yeah, I mean, like, my woman can. I mean, my friend's woman can never tell me, don't tell him or don't call him. That's an automatic. My rabbit ears are up immediately when that's going on, because. But again, at the same time, I'm not. I love both of them. Whatever. I don't care what goes on in their home. That's what goes on in their home. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would. I wouldn't even. I would just drop it. I wouldn't agree to helping. I wouldn't give any advice. I would just say, nah, we got to run that by so and so. What are his thoughts? I don't feel comfortable, you know, driving across country, being alone, whatever. Like, I just couldn't do that.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
remain neutral.
I want to touch this really,
Remain
really
neutral, man.
quickly.
Go on there.
I'm going to touch Chris, my brother. Absolutely do not drive with her, for her, about her. Grown folks' business in a relationship should stay one-on-one. As soon as you start interjecting, start getting involved, you are privy to the relationship now, and it's going to breed confusion. Stay away from it. Don't do it. I'm telling you. I don't care how much of a friend you are to them. Women take girls trips all the time. She could get a girlfriend to drive with her. I'm telling you, bro, you do not want to go there. You do not want to enter into that realm at all. And as far as I'm concerned, if people ask for advice, right? You could give your perspective, but if you're not part of the relationship, just tell them how you feel about if it was you. Man, I'm telling you, do not do it. I understand you probably love both of them, but at the end of the day, do not do it, because it's not worth the hassle of trying to explain what y'all did for 800 miles. Even if you think you're secure with their friendship, men have egos. And I'm telling you, he may not be as involved as you think he should be. But when that situation, his wheels gonna start spinning. And when his wheels start spinning, he gonna think of all kind of things. I'm telling you, bro, do not insert yourself into that situation. Figure out another way for her to get there. Maybe offer up a friend that might a woman friend that might want to drive with her or something like that. But if you do it, it's gonna breed confusion. And that's where I land at.
How old is the daughter, Chris?
Daughter is, my niece is 16.
Oh yeah, she good on her own. Then. I mean, she don't need, you know what I mean? Like, she good. Just one thing before you hop on, Jerron. I've been in not this situation, but I've been in a situation where two of my close friends agreed to, go and start dealing with one another. And I told them from the jump, like, look, I rock with both of y'all. I love both of y'all, but what y'all got going on is none of my business. I don't want to know what he did. I don't want to know what she did. And at some point, I had to choose because this was a woman that I went to middle school with. I went to middle school with her. We've always been good friends. Never nothing, no funny business going on. And he was my current boy. Like we, from high school on up. And that in the current time, he and I had a stronger relationship. So if it came to it, I was going to lean more on his side, not of an issue, but just that was going to be the friendship that I chose to honor if I had to choose one. It eventually has to come to that. Like, I don't ever want to be in a space where I'm having to juggle between two friends. You got to make it, not you, Chris, but you got to make a decision. You know what I mean? To where, yeah, that's a no for me. Go ahead, Jerome, my bad.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that I can see you coming from a place of love, but in a situation like that, you want to make sure you remain neutral. There are a couple questions that come to mind right off the bat. And the first question would be, what makes her so comfortable asking you? And I know y'all been knowing each other for a long time, but that question comes to mind first. And then vice versa. Why does she not want to tell her husband? So there's a reason why she doesn't want to tell him. You may not know exactly why she doesn't want to tell him, but if she was fine with telling him, she would have just went on and told him, hey, Chris is gonna travel with us back and forth. But she hasn't told him that, and she's told you, don't tell him. So that goes to show you there's something going on there that you may not know about. There's something that doesn't meet the eye, because she hasn't said anything to her husband about it, and she doesn't want you to talk to him about it. And also, they have a daughter, a 16-year-old daughter. If I'm a man, I'm not finna feel no comfortable with another man traveling with my wife and my daughter, 800 miles, where anywhere. You're not traveling with my family. It'd be me. And so there's something underlying going on there that you may just not be privy to know about right now. But the more you dig and the deeper you get, you may find out some information that you really don't know that may actually interfere and impact your relationship. So it's best if you just stay out of it. It's best if you remain neutral for both parties, because I would hate for it to get back to him and he figure out that you did it. And then that messes up a whole relationship that you all have built 20 some years of building. And you made a comment earlier too. You said, I know him. Do you really know him? Or do you think you know him?
Shan?
We can think we know somebody, and we really don't know him the way we think we do.
I'm looking at your face, Shan. I knew you had a devilish grin.
Is Mercury in retrograde?
I don't know.
Can somebody look that up for me in the chat and then post it? I wonder if Mercury's in retrograde. Because Chris, what the fuck are you doing talking to another man's wife in confidence?
I don't know. It's not in confidence.
And yes, it is. Because
I-
she
she's-
told you, don't tell him. And you said, I respect that.
Yeah.
No, she asked me. Let me tell you what she said. She said, "Don't call him and argue with him and tell him that he needs to be driving me."
So she told you not to tell him,
That's
and you said, "I
I'm
respect."
still.
I don't want to hear it. Don't fix shit now, Chris.
I'm not
First
gonna
of
fix
all,
it.
you getting ready to get set up. You was prepared to get used. You was a part of a setup from her. I'm telling you that right now. Number two, don't you ever talk to another man's wife about nothing, and that man don't know it, and that husband, that man don't know what the fuck you talking to her
absolutely
about.
agree.
That right? Number three, don't you ever respect the fact that a woman is telling you don't tell her husband any portion, piece, morsel of a conversation. That's a violation, and you should not respect that.
I absolutely agree.
All right.
1,000%.
I think you have a change in mind, and I'm glad you're not taking it. I'm glad you're not doing it after the night, because you was doing it before the night.
All right.
And,
So to our second question,
don't give a fuck if she gets mad at you.
Right.
In fact, be mad at her. Don't give a. That's why Wes asked you those discovery questions first. Who would you meet first? Who did you know? That was your boy? Okay. Then you met her through the church, and then they got together. No, okay, yeah. Your allegiance is to him. Do
Always.
not give a goddamn if she's mad at you or ever speak to you again. Fine. I don't want to talk to people like you, no way. I wouldn't want you around my wife so you can indoctrinate her and corrupt her with her talking to her, my boy, about some shit that she got to do, or driving across the country. Yeah, I know I could take off work. Yeah, I know I don't want to take off work. I argued with her and told her ass to stay home. She's going against my will. You discover that, you want damn, I told her I was gonna help her, bro. The fuck? Chris, you know better. Merch, you tripping. You know better. I don't even know why you. I almost want to think that you just playing devil's advocate, because I don't even think that's
even still though. Like for me, even if I knew the woman first, I'm a check. If she was my friend first, I'm checking her for, like, she don't know how to operate in a space of being a wife. Like, don't you ever, as my friend, and I love you dearly, don't you ever go behind your husband's back looking for help from another man.
The fuck?
Now there is a factor that I didn't want to take it to this particular point, but I'm gonna say this. But they are some dudes that sit around and wait for the chips to fall and be like, yeah, here's my opportunity to slide that. Now
That's Chris. Chris
I'm not saying that's you. I'm not saying that's you, Chris.
He was gonna smack them cheeks at the Motel 6 on the highway.
Oh, that'll never happen.
Never.
That'll never happen.
Never.
Like never.
400 miles in.
Listen,
I don't care if we drove from here to California or from here to Japan or wherever the furthest place is. Never happened.
So if you ever had any admiration, or divination towards any woman, and the opportunity arises at 800 miles, and I'm not talking about 800 miles per hour, I'm talking about 800 miles the distance, anything could go down. So all I'm saying is, bruh, do not insert yourself into that situation.
Little head.
Okay, so the second question that was emailed to us came from Ulysses.
You know what? If I was you, Chris, I would skip me too.
You said what?
I said if I was you, I would skip me too.
Skip what? I didn't hear it because.
Let's go, bro.
He said you skipped.
Shannon, don't tell me not to play devil's advocate. Okay, let me do this. And let me put my scenario in there, okay?
I wasn't devil's advocate. You was really gonna do that, man.
I was giving him out.
Shan, I'll show y'all the message. Anyway, The second question is
No,
from.
I'm gonna say this, Chris.
Look,
Because
Colin, you asked to be the producer, and you said I'm gonna stay in the back. And ever since that day, you said I'm gonna stay in the back. I'm gonna be in the cut. I'm probably not gonna be on camera. I'll be here, and I might throw. And then now you mad that you got skipped. We doing what you told us to do.
I'm not mad that
You're
I'm getting
following
skipped.
your instructions.
I am not mad that I got skipped. That's not what I'm mad about. What brought me on camera tonight is just the nonsense I'm hearing tonight. So I'm just like you, Shan. It's just like, what is going on? There's a full moon out and everything. And this was before Chris. So it's just like, yeah, I was mouthing off because it got real crazy. So it's just like, when I hear nonsense, I got to step in. I got to step up.
He bring out his stick.
So everybody, you've heard 5 different versions of no, Chris. Only thing I would say is stop putting this crap on the internet.
Right.
Because you are liable to still get your ass kicked because you have put this now on the internet.
It's gotta go on the internet.
Anyway.
I mean, it's not going to be a question of who. Is he talking about me? Well, who works?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So here's the second question that was emailed to us from Ulysses.
I'm going back and
out of Florida. Which do you all think is more expensive, being single or being in a relationship? And explain your answer.
That's
in a relationship, man. The money I spend on myself, that's me. Ain't self-care. I spend all the money on myself, but when you're in a relationship, you gotta think about somebody else's needs too. So it's not just you by yourself anymore. It's 2 of you. So you know you're doing things for that person. You're spending time with that person. You're going out of town, vacation with this person, going out to eat all these things. But when you by yourself, the money I'm spending on myself, I just call it splurging. It's just self-love. So, but when you're thinking about somebody else and you add them into the equation, things get double. So, of course, being in a relationship, that's what I would say.
I haven't really done paid attention to. I haven't paid attention enough to really know. I think when I'm single, I do things for myself, like go on dates, travel, this, that, and the third. So it might balance out. I don't know. I haven't paid enough attention to it.
So there's this theory. There's this theory that a lot of young people have. I had it myself. When you get married, you combine all the bills that you start saving bread. Well, she has her apartment and she pays $2,000. I have my apartment. I pay $3,000. Each month, every 30 days on the 1st, we send out $5,000 between the 2 of us. I have my cell phone bill and it's an individual plan. It costs me, let's say $100. And she has her T-Mobile phone all by herself and it costs $100. Then I have my electric bill and she has her electric bill. I have my gas bill and my gas bill. I have my insurance with Geico and they charge me X amount all by myself on that plan. And she has her insurance with AAA. But if we move together, if we get married, we can, instead of having to pay $2,000 for her place and $3,000 for mine, she can move with me, save $2,000. If she comes over to my cell phone plan, we can get the family plan. And instead of me paying $100 and her paying $100, together we'll pay $150. We'll save $50. I'm just throwing out numbers, right? Because I know cell phones are cheap these days, but you get the point. Why should she pay the electric company for her electric and me pay the electric? We get together. My electricity bill not gonna go up much because she's in the same house as me. We're watching the same television. That's one TV turned off because we're watching the same one together. We're gonna save a whole lot of money living together, moving in together, shacking up, getting married. That is the theory. I don't know how Wes feels. I don't know how Chris feels. We've been married before. I don't know. Was Daryl married before?
Daryl was married.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I don't know how Daryl. I don't know. That's the theory. That's the thought, right? I don't know how, and I don't have the answer. I did not come up here to answer. I didn't come off the mic so I can answer you guys. I'm coming off the mic to let you know something that's been a phenomenon that's boggled the shit out of me. Both times that I was married, when I'm thinking I'm saving money and I'm not costing that much, for whatever reason, my overhead over damn near almost tripled.
It
For
literally
whatever
skyrockets.
For whatever reason. Now I get it. It's the same electric bill, it's the same mortgage, it's the same this, it's the same that. But when I add up how much, when you spend, when you look at yourself and you looking at, like, God damn, you spend, well, how do we end up doing 22 grand this month? And how do this month is 18,000. You're looking at all these different numbers and you're saying, why is it costing me so much when it should be costing me the same, if nothing else, but just a little bit more than if I was by myself. But somehow,
and you should be able to bank some.
When I've been single, somehow I make so much more money. Now they didn't ask the question about how much more money. I didn't. They didn't ask the mentality of the guy because I can only give it from a man's point of view. That's all I am as a man. Somehow men, and the men that I talk to and the men that I know, and I don't know if it's the same for Wes or Daryl or Chris, but somehow we make more money when we single and we spend less, almost half than when we were married, almost half as much as we did when we were married. Now, it should be the opposite because bringing in two people and all that other kind of thing. But for whatever reason, that liability, in my experience, skyrocketed. If you guys can explain it to me, I'm all ears because I cannot explain it. The answer for me is I tend to make more bread and spend less of it when I'm not in a relationship. When I am in a relationship, for whatever fucking reason, man, whatever reason, I'll be like, God damn, when that bill comes.
Colin, please put Dawn's comment on the screen.
So I have a theory, my brother. And I think
Go ahead.
To the screen, Shan.
Actually, yo, listen. See, now you see that? See what Don says? That's because you date. Actually, no. That's why I'm so experienced in the alpha versus alpha relationship. No. Now, here's the flip side of that is like my most recent. She just picked up that new Range Rover. She picked up a 2022. The answer is no. I didn't date. I'm thinking I need to start. I think the whole on my program thing is so imperative. But you know what? I'm not going to start because I'm going to end up fucking going for 2 hours. And I got to realize this is our show, not mine. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I have a theory about that. I think when we're single, in single mode, we're single-minded. So we're not spending as much money for that overhead per capita as opposed to when we're in relationship, i.e. marriage, we got so much ground to cover. Even though we're supposed to be stacking our bread together.
And but I got so many toys.
Yeah,
I got toys. I got shit. Amazon got me on the platinum. I got platinum service with them. I didn't. You know how much money I gave them? I gave them, bro. I hear you, but Daryl, do you not have as many things? Like I got. I just got shit, man. Look at this. Look at this. This is today's delivery. This came 2 days ago. This shit. I got shit. I just got stuff. It's not that I'm saving bread. It's just that it's just spent differently. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Saying I just came.
You're making way more money. That's what it is.
I just came from getting my taxes done, and it wasn't pleasant. And I'm sitting there telling my preparer, like, hey, I'm trying to figure out why I'm single, own home, everything else. I know I don't have any children. I know I'm not married. I know all of these things. But I, like you, I have things. I just got finished telling somebody today, I'm getting rid of all my cars that don't have automatic start and backup cameras. I'm getting rid of them all. One down, one to go. So when you're single-minded, you think about your things. You spend on your things. But when you get married, then you consider other things. And those other things, even though bread is coming in.
Nice. Don't say it nicely. Say her things.
So when you're thinking about her things, they are now your things too, because you're under the same, you're in the same covenant. Now, I'm a generous dude when it comes to relationships.
Me too.
I spend a lot. I save a lot. And I think I've earned that right. But at the end of the day, sometimes the reason why our bread is not moving as fast or is not going as long as it used to, because we're not even thinking about it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take care of what she, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to take care of that. Maybe she wants this, or let me talk to her about that. Because all of those other things we're considering. But when we're in single mode, Amazon can be on platinum. I was just telling, this is not a, anybody that knows me that's watching this show know I'm a shoe guy.
Oh, the Defender. That's what
so
Range Rover Defender. I
got shoes I haven't even worn, and they gotta go. But at the same time, I don't even think about it. I was like, oh, I like them. They banging. I got to get that. But so again, as a single man, I'm not factoring in those things when it's just me. But when it's us, I factor in, but you're spending more because you're covering for two people instead of one. She's bringing bread to the table. That's why it seems like you're making, you have less, even though you're making more.
Let me see if this resonates with either one of y'all. And one of the things that comes to mind is, at least for me, is when I'm in, well, this is a little bit general, and then I'll get really specific to me. But in general, when you're single, especially if you're in the entrepreneurial space, where you actually your work ethic and your just what you put into it has a lot to do with what you get out of it, versus going to a 9-to-5 and your paycheck is the same regardless. So if you're operating from an entrepreneurial space, which I know you are, Shannon, you have as well, DB. I find that in relationship in general, you tend to start having to split your time. When you're dating, you kind of give the time wherever you see fit and you can to her. But when you're actually in that marriage, you're oftentimes it's your time dedicated to the relationship is no longer optional.
It's no days off.
It's no motherfucking days off. And so really specific for me, I tend to with that in mind, I tend to, when I'm in a relationship, I tend to hyper focus on the relationship. And so one of the things that I'm kind of anxious for the next relationship, so I can kind of see where I'm at with and put some of these tools to work that I have.
Try to test it out.
Exactly. But I tend to, like, actually when I'm in a relationship in the past, my work has suffered. My availability for projects and things became less. My passion for them became less because I tend to want to pour it all into that particular person, especially if they have a business. Because all of these creative things that I've done for myself and as a business, I can absolutely help elevate her in those with those things. So
that worked out for you.
Oh, that worked terrible. But however, that's a me thing because I haven't in the past I hadn't learned balance, and so that's one of the other things that I'm looking forward to putting to work is a healthy balance and getting and not being so invested in what it is that she's doing. If that
Yeah,
makes
but you
sense.
think you're gonna find a woman that's not gonna want that in the future, even though you got all the new tools? I wrote you remember that I wrote a meme. I say, you know, if you date an entrepreneur, you're automatically an assistant. So just get
Right.
used to it. Right now, you were pouring into her. You say, especially when they have a see. You was with a boss chick. Right? Didn't work out too well for you. Doesn't generally work out too well for you. I know I hear the theories and I know what everybody wants. I don't care about all of that. I'm looking at the results of shit. I'm looking at it from an older perspective. I'm looking at all these boss chicks that I was in college with 20 years ago, and I'm looking at the graveyard of relationships that it ended up with it. I know what everybody think, and I knew me and my power couple and all that shit, right? But what if she was not a boss chick? And what if she didn't have an alpha type personality? And what if all she cared about was your art and your photography and your directing? And she was the best assistant that you could have ever had. And you get to make love to her at night. And what if she would have been doing all the research that you need to do on that Rode mic that you're speaking on right now, and made sure that you got all the lenses and gave you all the details on the aperture, on everything that you needed to know? Because she didn't have time to worry about her stuff. She didn't even want her own stuff. All she wanted to do was make sure that you won. Because if you win, the family wins, the babies win, we win, and she gets to go on vacations, and she gets to, live the lavish luxury. But Wes is out there shooting and directing, and is on this project, and he's reading this treatment, and he's rewriting this script, and she's helping you out, and she's making sure she make the run the Staples to bring more are already 3-hole paper. She's doing all of that stuff to make it work for you. You wouldn't rather have that than the boss chick that you got to go help when you can,
Right.
if you can,
So,
but she needs you now.
so
When
that's
are you
that-
under the impression that you're going to find a woman that is going to not want the things that you used to pour into your previous women?
you make a
and
great point.
Follow-up question would be, which do you think would yield the most results? But go ahead.
Well, we'll see. And so here's the thing, and this is why it's an individual thing, because that woman, Shan, she sounds amazing. If you have her number, I like it. However,
that's a mythological. She's mythological. Well, how do you say that? Am I saying it right?
Right.
Mythological.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, here's the thing, and this is why it comes down to an individual. That's why at the end of the day, I think all of these conversations, while it's great to get other people's perspective, but at the end of the day, none of it matters, because all that matters is what's in front of you and who is in front of you. And to that point, what I'll say though is, for me, as wonderful as that sounds, I know me, and so I'm a server by nature, and so I want something to serve. I want to pour into someone beyond pouring in emotionally and love and those things. That comes natural to me. But I want to actually affect a woman's goals and dreams. And so in order to do that, I'm attracted to a woman with goals and dreams and actually perhaps an agenda of sorts. And so I love to serve, and I love the challenge and the pressure that comes with serving myself and serving someone else at the same time. And I love sacrifice. And so for me, that sounds great. And sure, I might be at I would definitely probably be at a different place, financially, business-wise. I can see all of those things with that woman. But would I be happy? Would I be fulfilled? Would I feel like I'm contributing to her beyond just paying the bills and whatever? If I had that woman, we're actually doing all of that. Even if I'm the one making the money, we're paying the bills. She's facilitating my ability to go out there and get it in that way. but knowing me, I would still feel there's still something that would be desired from myself that I couldn't give myself, and it comes from serving. But who knows? Maybe I'd be out in the community and I'd be, I don't know, serving the homeless every weekend, and maybe that would be my fulfillment.
Happy, I want to welcome you back to Ask a Black Man Anything. Not to really shift from this, but I wanted to bring you in real quick. Wanted to also give you a quick reminder, we're at the close, so we're about to shut it down. But welcome again to Ask a Black Man Anything. Happy, how did you want to contribute? Happy, you're on mute.
No audio. All right, that's our show. Thank you all very much.
Well, damn, Colin.
What's up, Happy?
Y'all don't want to say hi, hey.
Hi, Happy.
Hey, y'all. Bye. See you later.
We gotta shrink the time down.
No, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me, you guys. And good evening. I think the best way I can contribute to this conversation this evening is that the three things that came up to me while I was taking notes as you guys are talking, because I love to do that, is purpose, self-worth, and vision. And I think that it's important when we have a conversation like this one, where we're talking about alpha is like an adjective, and this conversation has evolved so many ways since that initial conversation about alpha. But even throughout the conversation, these three words were still my main go backs. So number one, I'm assuming that you guys mean, when you say alpha, a leader, someone who is ultimately in a leadership position or in a leadership role a lot of the time. Is that correct to assume or to say?
It is from my perspective. And if they're not in leadership, they're looking to gain that as soon as they possibly can.
Okay, Shan. Everybody else? Can we get a show of hands? Yay.
Yeah,
Leadership?
I think.
Is that like the main characteristic of what this alpha thing is?
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, let me touch this a little bit, Happy. So the main focus for leadership for me is not so much that I am trying to be a leader, but that woman sees leadership qualities in me that she may want me to be the person that might want to be the head of her life. So I'm not trying to put on a show or act anything differently other than the man that be. So the leadership qualities measurable in both of us, but she sees more of a leader in me that, hey, I need that guy in my life. So that's the way I look at it. So I don't really
But what's the alpha characteristics in the alpha woman? I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just want to
Happy, we went over that at the beginning. You got to watch the beginning of the show.
Yeah, we did all of that at the beginning.
All right, well, let's bypass that then. Well, I'm going to tell you what I heard. I'm going to tell you where I jumped in and what I heard. Purpose. The number one thing about a man, because my question initially when I jumped in was, if you have an issue, if you call yourself an alpha male, or if you consider yourself to be an alpha male, and you have an issue with a woman who also considers herself to be an alpha male, or that you deem to be an alpha female, or not alpha male, alpha female, what is the level of respect that you have for this woman? Because typically when I think of a partnership, the only healthy relationships that I know are relationships where there's mutual respect, right? So if leadership is the main quality of this so-called alpha, right, and you don't respect the leadership abilities of your woman in whatever area, because there can't be too many Indians and not enough chiefs, and no chiefs. That's what I'm trying to say. So in every area of your life, there's going to be areas where your woman is going to know a little bit better how to navigate and lead the situation, and where you're going to know a little bit better. Hey, yo, this is my area. This is my field. I'm a lead in this area. And I feel that if you respect the person that you're with, that characteristic, when it needs to come out, like I think it was Terrelyn was on here earlier, and she said, and this was where Chris kind of had the contention where you like, that's not really
if you have to say that you're going to lead in this situation, who wants a woman that's going to say that she's a alpha woman, you know? And she said it's not that. Sometimes when I come home, I actually want to be submissive and I want to be feminine to that masculine property or that masculine man. And you were like, nah, that's not really how it goes. But actually that is how it goes. Because the masculine and feminine energy is something that lives within us all, and it has to be balanced at certain times. And so,
But Happy, she wasn't talking about masculinity and femininity. She was saying that she took off her alpha jacket. So
I think I think that is talking about masculine and femininity, though, because there's I know what you're saying. I see what you're saying, though. I see where you're going with that, but I still see, well, in my opinion, I still see it as a masculine and feminine energy, right? So I can be exerting a masculine, which is considered a leadership energy at work. And then when I come home to my man, I actually just want to kind of be feminine. I don't want to lead in the situation of what I do when I get home. I just want to be in that feminine energy. And so I don't think that's taking off a jacket of alpha. I think that's giving her feminine or her masculine energy a rest and letting her feminine breathe. But I do see what you're saying, though, Shan. Like, it's you saying the same thing, but in different terms. Back to purpose. I believe that if you have purpose, if you know who you are as a man and you have purpose in your life, when you deal with the people that you deal with, you kind of know what their role is in terms of what your purpose is, right? So you're going to not only pick a woman who is in alignment with your purpose. If you know your purpose, you are going to pick a woman that's in alignment with your purpose. When you do that, her whatever strengths she has, that's not going to be a deterrent to the success of your relationship. Does that make sense? Or Chris, I'm sorry. Really, I'm talking
It's
to
going to
Chris.
be complimentary. Is that what you're
I
saying?
was feeling like, yes, that is it. What I'm saying. If you know your purpose, if you're sure of who you are, which is what I consider to be an alpha male, that confidence that Shan, you were speaking of, you said it's not natural. Actually, I do believe confidence, it is something that you learn a little bit, but a lot of confidence is developed in you being the person that you're supposed to be. When you're walking in alignment with the purpose that God has placed on your life, or if you don't believe in God, then the creator, whatever creator you believe in, has placed on your life. I believe that confidence is something that kind of comes inherently, and that is what develops a leader and what is considered an alpha. As someone, I don't again, I still don't have a clear definition of what you guys consider an alpha female or alpha woman, but I'm going to submit to the man that has some place to lead me, who has a vision. And that was the third word I used: vision, purpose, self-worth, and vision. If you know your purpose, then a lot of times, if you're an evolved person, man, at this point, everybody on this stage is grown. If you know your purpose and you're an evolved man, you know you have a vision. And so you have to be able to express that vision to your woman. And if you have a purpose and you have a clearly defined vision, the woman that's for you is probably going to fall in alignment with that, because you're going to pick her based on what it is that you need. That's just my opinion. Self-worth comes into that. A lot of what I heard you talking about, Chris, unfortunately, to me, it came down to or not unfortunately. A lot of it came down to a self-worth question. And you're laughing, but I'm very serious. Even this,
I'm not laughing at what you're saying.
Okay. Oh, you laughing at Colin? Okay, Colin, I'm done. I ain't gotta say nothing else then. I could inbox Chris. I'm done.
No.
Thank you so much, Happy, for joining.
Wait.
All I want Happy to do is get to.
Yeah, let her rock. Why we cutting her off? Let her finish.
Yeah, that's I didn't. Like,
I'm done. I said what I had to say. Purpose, self-worth,
vision. Get to the point or the question.
I made my point.
All right.
If you didn't get it, then that's my bad. I'm very long-winded.
Wes, you had a question?
We're here for that smoke, though.
A quick question.
No, I didn't have a question. I don't think. Why? Did I have a question?
Okay.
So
Happy, thank you so much.
Anybody want to comment on her long point?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with what she said. I think a lot of that is detailed, and the key word that I picked out of that, she said that she doesn't have a problem with being submissive, and submission or submissiveness comes from a military term, and that means that a person that is in a position of authority will submit to a person with a greater position of authority because they believe that they're comfortable with that person taking care of them and leading them. So yeah, I don't have a problem with anything that she said.
I agree with the part as far as like the right partner, because I always say that the right partner will complement your life, and the wrong partner will complicate your life. So it's all about I'm losing my train of thought because I'm tired.
Synergy.
Synergy, but preferences. That's what I was talking about. So it's just like, it's about preferences, because the right man for this particular right woman, if that man possesses all the qualities that that particular woman is looking for, she's going to submit to him. She's going to do everything for that man, because that man is on his purpose. He's on his ambition, and the woman's purpose should be the man. So that's why that just goes back to what I say: when you properly vet a man, you should be looking for the God in the man.
Better be careful. Be careful. Be careful.
Go ahead, Shane. What were you being careful about? What?
Her purpose is the man, boy. That you gonna have him calling in on you.
I mean,
they don't want to hear that.
We can go scripture there.
Happy don't want to hear that.
But no, that's not true, Shan. I believe that a woman's purpose can be in alignment with what the person that whoever it ain't even gotta be one person. That's probably where I get fucked up at. I don't believe it's just one person that we here to serve. I just truly don't. And that don't mean that I'm not gonna marry one man. I really don't know. But
wait.
Honestly, we are here to serve as God's children. We're here to serve God's children.
You are not. You think I'm gonna let that slide by? You better bring that back up. Rewind. You said what? How many men you want to serve?
How many men do I want to serve?
Yes.
That's a very inflammatory question.
Flame on, baby. Flame on.
Don't do it, Happy.
Whatever it is that God tell me. Look, Wes know more than anybody. Wes kind of know me a little bit. He probably know me more than everybody on the stage. Hey, I'm gonna serve whoever God tells me to serve. Amen.
However many there are.
However many there are, he said. That's crazy.
I was going to say this one thing. Happy, you did say something when you were talking about purpose. It brought me back to my earlier conversation. I think my dialogue back and forth with Shan, and this when I was talking about service. And so, while I do have a very specific vision, ultimately, though, what hit me was that what I understand about me is that my purpose is to serve people, and that can happen in a lot of different capacities, my family and friends, but also unknown people. So there's a lot of ways that I can serve others, and in relationship, my purpose is to serve that woman. And so I think that has been, and I got to process it some more, because I'm literally, it's kind of a revelation in real time that, because now I'm wondering, because most people will say, most men will have a very specific purpose, and their life looks like X, Y, and Z, and so they're, to your point, Happy, they can pick out the roles that everybody that they meet in their life, the role that they would play in their life. And for me, for one, I do a bunch of different things. What I know now, what I understand now, when I hit 50 and I discovered I've had ADHD, I understand the implications that has had on my life, my relationships, but also career wise. And it's probably why I've had and continue to have multiple careers at the same time, so to speak. That being said, I don't even know where I'm going with that. Bottom line, though, is that now you just kind of cracked something open for me when it comes to purpose. And I've always understood, again, my purpose was to serve people. And that's why I describe myself as a server by nature. But now I think I need to investigate what that looks like. I don't know. I need to investigate that a little bit. So thank you. Happy. Unlocking me.
I think that's so important. Can I say something, Colin? I know you're about to say something. Did you want to say it real quick?
You can go ahead. Happy.
I think this is so important. One of the main things that I've found with people in general, you really have to know what your purpose is in order to even know how you relate to other people. And so this is not just on a relational scale in terms of intimate relationships. But in order to know how you lead, in order to know how you relate to the world around you, you have to have a purpose. When you get into a relationship, I'm going to tell you, I don't know that we're naturally monogamous. I have no idea. I have no one true feeling or belief about that one way or another. But what I do know is that in order for a monogamous relationship to work, and that's what a lot you guys talk about a lot on this platform, a man has to know exactly what it is that he's doing this for. Not even just a man, both people. We both have to be very clear on what it is that we are in this relationship for, because the things that can ruin a relationship, in order to do those things, in order to breach those things that actually ruin a relationship, you have to bypass not only God and yourself, and in order to bypass yourself, because a lot of times people ruin their relationships by self-sabotage, like they'll cheat or something like that. Well, actually, when you're cheating, yes, you are cheating on the other person, but really, if you have a vision and a goal and a reason and a purpose for being in this relationship, you're really cheating yourself first, because you're ruining, consciously or subconsciously, this relationship that you committed to, that you told yourself that you were going to be in. The only reason you would not breach that commitment is if you have a very clear reason to be committed to A, God, the creator, and B, yourself. And in order to be committed to yourself, in order to not sabotage or hurt or defend or offend, not defend, offend yourself, you got to know what it is that you're protecting. And that's where self-worth came in, which was my last point. If I'll bring it all together. Self-worth comes in when you know who it is that you are. And your purpose is what will fuel that level of self-worth, that will make you respect the people that you choose to be in relationship with, which is, at the end of the day, when you come down to the topic y'all had, which was alpha man versus alpha woman, really relationships work when you choose people that are going to work with you, when you choose people intentionally, and typically with men, it's an interesting conversation. I was very interested to hear this conversation because I wanted to hear what the faults would be, or what the contradiction or what the contention would be against men that call themselves alpha and this alpha woman.
All right. All right, Happy.
Goddamn, Colin, I know I'm bad, but Jesus.
Happy.
Okay,
Happy.
look, I really gotta be better. I'm gonna get better in my life. Okay,
Happy.
I'm still growing. God's still working on me. Yes, Shan.
Are you an alpha woman?
I don't even know what that is. That's why I was asking you guys. I have no clue what that is, so I wouldn't call myself that. But I believe to define is to limit. So I would never define myself as anything.
But you said, God's still working on you, because I was going to ask you, do you read the Bible? Do you read the Bible?
I've read the Bible throughout my life. Do I read it? All the time. All the time. I go for what I need.
read for tonight. Read 1 Corinthians chapter 7, 1-40, because you said you didn't know if it was supposed to be monogamous. So 1 Corinthians chapter 7, 1-40.
What does it say, Colin?
I can summarize it. Now, concerning the matters about which you wrote, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman. But because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, W-I-F-E, not W-I-V-E-S, and each woman her own husband, not husbands.
That doesn't mean one, though.
Is husband and wife, is that singular or plural?
Colin, if I have my own car, how many cars do I have?
If you have your own car?
Yeah, how many cars do I have?
You said rephrase.
I don't know.
If I have my own car, how many cars do I have?
You only have one car.
It's not true.
Why is that?
Because I just have, the car belongs to me. I have my own car. That doesn't dictate how many I have.
You failed English.
Okay.
Here's one. Here's one for you, Colin. If I have a band,
right?
How many hundreds do I have?
No, Colin.
What? That don't make sense.
Colin, do you have a brother?
Yeah, I do.
Does that tell me you only have one brother?
It should.
All right. I have a brother.
Because when I tell people, because I actually have two brothers.
Colin, how many wives did Abraham have?
We're not in the Old Testament, Happy. We're in the New Testament.
You only have one.
Oh, so only part of the Bible, but not all of the Bible. Got it.
You could have said Job.
So we can
Abraham just had one.
Not tonight.
No, Abraham did not have
That's
one
not true.
because you have to look at Hagar.
That was his wife. That was his wife.
Hagar was his wife.
I thought that was a concubine.
I
thought she was just a servant.
Hagar was his wife.
Now we just opening up overtime now.
Was Hagar the wife? I thought
now we just open up the whole Bible.
Wait, which one? Because I'm lost. So,
okay.
help me out. Which one was the one?
Right, you're right, but she was his wife.
Well, is it because we're saying that anybody that had sex back then was considered?
The scripture calls her his wife.
Oh, really, Hagar? I didn't know. I thought Hagar was the. I'm not well versed. I thought Hagar was the help. Was his wife?
She was considered his wife because the mistress of the house at the time, Sarah, gave her to him to
scripture calls her his wife. The scripture says W-I-F-E.
We can debate this on end, but
we can debate this because he's not the only one. We could talk about David too. We can talk about King David.
You
can't talk a lot of them.
You can't debate scripture. The scripture calls her his wife. It says W-I-F-E in the scripture. If you want to debate the scripture, that's on you. But that's what the scripture says. It calls her his wife.
Was that after Sarah died or before she died?
I don't know that, but she's
no, it's
called
definitely not after she died because Hagar was having sex with
it wasn't.
Abraham while Sarah was alive. Come on.
Right. I just Googled something. It said Abraham remarried after the death of Sarah and had a total of 3 wives: Sarah, Hagar, and Keturah.
But he had more than one wife at a time, is what I'm saying.
Another tradition identifies Keturah with Hagar, and thus Abraham married only twice. Each of these views find spiritual support for its position. The 3-wife opinion relies on Genesis and starts reading. I don't know, man. That's why the Bible is.
How many wives did King David have?
Oh,
the God tells King David in the Bible that he would have even gave when he took someone's wife. I don't, correct me, Colin. You know the scripture.
He took Uriah's wife. He took Bathsheba, and he sent Uriah to die on the front.
God told him,
line.
I would have given you even more on top of what you had.
When the prophet Nathan came to him and had to get David to admit that what he did in sending Uriah to the front lines to have him killed was wrong. That's when David realized, oh, damn, I probably shouldn't have had that man killed so I could sleep with his wife. But I'm going to make her my wife. King David had 8 wives. So that's why I say it's neither here nor there. The scripture is all up for
but it's in the Old Testament. So that's why I say
we can have
in the Old Testament. We're living in the New Testament right now.
Are we living in the New Testament?
Yeah,
right
because
now?
Jesus
I don't know
came
about
on
that
earth
now.
to usher in the New Testament. That's why he was threatened to be killed and stoned and crucified so many times, because they
I
thought he
think
was
we're
in
way
violation.
past
They
the
thought
New.
he was
We're
in
in
violation of the Old Testament.
2022 AD. I don't believe that we're still in the year of the New Testament, guys. But I feel you. I feel where you're coming
turn this
from.
into a Bible study lesson. Clifford is not
I
here
feel where
tonight.
you coming from. I feel where you coming from.
We're not going to turn this into a Bible study lesson because Clifford is not here tonight to homiletically exegete. But
amen with the homiletics. Okay.
Happy we thank you for joining us tonight on Ask a Black Man Anything. You are always welcome. As a fan favorite, you've been rocking with us for the last year, so we thank you. But fellas, let's take us home. Wes, where you from? Give us your outro. Wes frozen. Daryl, give us your outro.
Yeah. Daryl Bailey, Baltimore, Maryland. It's been a pleasure.
Colin Hardiman.
Colin Hardiman. Yeah, it's been a pleasure doing this room. So really appreciate it this evening. But looking forward to the next one, Mr. Shaheed.
Shaheed Muhammad's your favorite black cowboy signing out. Jerron, it's on you.
Hey, I'm Jerron, clinical therapist in Jackson, Mississippi. Love on yourself this weekend. Do something nice for yourself. I'm out.
Shannon Rawls.
Appreciate everybody. This is the show that you get the nice version of Shannon, because I want to protect the brand and I don't want to cuss nobody out and don't want to be super asshole to the guests.
That is artistic. That was Artistic RQ on all platforms. I'm Chris Davis. You can find me right here, The Real Chris Davis, The Real _ Chris Davis on all platforms. Make sure you buy my books. Love y'all. Good night.
Hold on. Go ahead, Wes. Go ahead, Wes. All right. 5.
Artistic IQ on all platforms.
3, 2. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Peace.
He got dial up.
Okay, so if I have, that's not a simple question. So if you say, y'all are complicating something that's simple. So if I have a brother.
No, Colin. Colin. Shaheed is right in that one. On that one.
I have a brother. That doesn't mean.
Let me finish talking though. So it's like, yeah, if I have 2 brothers, but I'm having a conversation with somebody and I say, yeah, it's like, hey, do you have a brother? Yeah, I have a brother. Or I have brothers. If they're asking me specifically if I have brothers, I'm gonna say, yeah, I have 2 brothers. But
that wasn't the question though.
What was the question?
The question was, do you have a brother?
Yes, I do.
Right. That does not tell me how many brothers you have.
So if somebody just randomly came up to me and asked that question, I would say, yes, I have brothers.
That's fair. You chose to answer that way. But if I ask you,
just the way it's asked, it's just like, it's very vague. What do you mean? Yeah, I have 2 brothers.
Fair enough. You chose to tell the number you have. But what I'm telling you, just because I say I have a brother does not tell you how many brothers I have. That's all I'm saying. It's not that scripture you're relating to is talking about possession. It has nothing to do with numbers. That means that you have your own wife who she does not belong to Christian, Rob, Daryl. Doesn't mean you keep one.
We talking normal English.
No, we're not.
Nobody's just gonna come up to you and be like, hey, do you have a brother? And
if someone says,
hey, Shaheed, hey, say, man, I need to get to the other side of town. Do you have a car?
Yes, I have a car.
So in that moment, are you gonna say, yeah, I have cars?
No, that's
you're not gonna respond that way because it's the way it was asked.
That's what you're doing, Colin. If someone says I need to get to the other side of town, do you have a car? I'm gonna say yes. I don't need to say I got 3 cars and a truck.
So that's the same thing in principle as what you're doing to me. Is saying, hey, Colin, do you have a brother? Yeah,
right, and that's my point, Colin. I'm showing you that does not dictate, that does not signify a number.
Do you think, okay, so So do you think the Bible is trying to complicate you? Do you think it's trying to confuse you? Or do you think it's trying to be as simple and straightforward as possible? So if it says,
if you want to get into the Bible, we can, but I can show you. It's like if I give you a scripture where you're being instructed to how to deal with your additional life, you're going to say, oh, it's the Old Testament, meaning that you disregard everything prior to the New Testament. But you can't, because Jesus said, I come not to break the law. So how can you disregard it?
okay, I want you to ask that again because it's fading. This music is fading out your voice. It's hard to hear. But keep that question.
Your time is coming, Wes. You got 20 more seconds to have the last 10 seconds.
I don't see how people read that scripture and just disregard the word own. Like they changed the word own to mean one. It's own, not one. Own meaning your wife that you married, you have a marriage bond with is for you, not anyone else. That doesn't mean one.
Got it. Okay, so what was the last question you asked again?
I said if I show you a scripture that where God is instructing how to deal with your additional wife, if you take on another wife, you're going to disregard that and say, oh, this is Old Testament. But then in the New Testament, Jesus says, for I come not to break the law, only to fulfill it. So how are we, like, we got to pick and choose. We can't pick and choose.
Right, that's the point. That's the point I was making before the show closed with Happy. That's why I was saying Jesus was being they were threatening to stone him and crucify him so many times because he was ushering in the new law. So they thought he was in violation.
He wasn't, Colin. He said, I come not but to fulfill the law. What is the law? The law is the Old Testament, right?
Right.
Yeah, but in the Sermon on the Mount, he says, but he revised a few of them because that's what he said. I come to fulfill the law, but I say unto you, and then that's when he started laying down some revised changes.
Because we couldn't.
We couldn't
walk the straight and narrow today. Everybody would be stoned out in the streets today under that old law. So he had to come and usher in a new law to make it more manageable for us to walk.
All right,
I don't want to say new law. I want to say wasn't more like
not a new law. So if I said new law, I didn't mean to say that, but I'm just saying, yeah, he came to
make some amendments, a few modifications.
Because there would be bodies in the street all day, every day today. Because we would every time we sin, we're stoned, we're dead.
So did nobody have? Was there no polygamy in the New Testament?
That I'm not sure. Right. That I'm not totally sure because I'm literally having Bible studies every Monday and Wednesday. Like right now.
No, I get the notifications that you I get the notifications that you
almost So I'm not trying to sit up here and act like I'm just well versed on the Bible, like I know it back and forth. Like there's still some things I don't know, but
almost all of God's chosen men that he chose to deliver his message had multiple wives. Except
that's in the Old Testament. I don't.
That's in the Old Testament. If we're going to disregard the Old Testament, then
it's not disregarding the Old Testament, but he came to make some, like Chan said, some new amendments.
And what are
these new amendments? It's all in the New Testament. So that's I gave you First Corinthians chapter 7, 40. It talks about.
I wouldn't say I have some knowledge, right? So when we get into when you talk about these certain books. Who is the author of these books? Who's given this? Like, if you give me some red letters where Jesus said X, Y, and Z, cool, I'll accept it. But when we just say New Testament, majority of the New Testament, we don't even know who authored this.
Who I'm sorry, we don't know what?
Who authored we don't know. Like, most people think
in the Gospel, John, Luke.
That Luke did not author the Gospel of Luke.
Do you mean who recorded?
No, like most people believe that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were people of Jesus's time. They were not. This is a fact. This is historical fact that these men, the gospel according to these men, never met Jesus. Luke did not write Luke.
No, and that's fine. But let's just here's the thing. So and I know it sounds like we're getting hung up on New Testament versus Old Testament, nigga. We got whole new laws. Fuck all that shit that happened in the old time. We talking about the new time. But even in the New Testament, what Colin, I think, is trying to convey is remove testaments. If the Bible is written chronologically and linearly, right? It started in the beginning. There was darkness, and then we go all the way to fucking Revelations. Behold the pale white horse. If we go in order, what happened in the old times? I'm not saying Old Testament. I'm saying in the old times was things changed later on as the population of the earth grew. As more and more people spoke to God and listened to his word and his instruction and what he wanted people to do, what his people and his creation of the human race to do, to be in his favor.
Right.
So when you look at things like what Paul writes in Timothy, he gave spiritual leadership. He was telling now that's the argument, because I just read that up. That's the argument that some people are saying. He's saying people in church, deacons, pastors, and that such, can only have one wife, but he didn't speak about the layman, the regular guy. And so some people are arguing, well, you know what? That's for pastor. Pastor got to have one wife, but me, I can have 4. And that's what a lot of people are arguing. But the flip side of that is, aren't we trying to be as much like pastor as we possibly can? So we should follow his lead.
Because we are all under the law. We are all under the law.
So that's the
talk about the Old Testament. Like, no, we don't disregard the Old Testament. Those are a lot of principles and lessons for us to learn. But so just like Vegan 4C said, Jesus came to fulfill them, hence come to bring context to how they were supposed to be carried out. So we're not living 800 years anymore. There's no giants in the land anymore. So it's just like we're living under this. We're living under the new covenant that Jesus established.
Which only a few things changed. Because think about it,
it even says in the New Testament, "Keep my commandments."
Yeah, because okay. So as an example, we all know the human manual, the operating manual for humans is Leviticus. We all know that's where, don't eat this kind of stuff, don't do that, don't have sex when she's on her period, all these different things. Everything wasn't revised, everything wasn't changed. It was like, nope, still don't eat that swine. Throughout the Bible, from the beginning to the end, don't eat pork, y'all. Don't eat shrimp. We ain't supposed to eat shrimp.
But Shane, you would hear people saying that that's a part of the Old Testament, and they eat pork.
That's people that want to eat. That's because people love bacon.
That's my point. So that's what I'm saying. So where are these? If I ask, like, give me a list of these new laws, no one can. You see what I'm saying?
No. Okay, so that's my point. Okay, so I get what you're saying. All the laws wasn't new. That's what he's saying. That's what Colin keeps telling you. He's saying,
I agree. So where's the law where in the Bible, in the New Testament, says a man should have one, not own, because own is talking of possession, not numbers. Where does the Bible, the New Testament, say a man should only keep one wife?
First
Titus
1:7, 1 through 40.
Titus 1:6 says, let deacons each be the husband of one wife, managing their children and their own households well. That's one.
Again,
what it comes down to is just like the Bible is simple. God's instruction is simple. What happens is people complicate it. If God said, turn the doorknob, open the door, and receive $1 million, nobody would miss it.
The Bible says Judas died by hanging himself, and in another verse it said he died and his guts split open and spilled. Okay. So we talk about confusion. And I'm not trying to get into you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's just I think what Colin is trying to say is when we overcomplicate, like Matthew, like Matthew is the first book of the New Testament. And in Matthew 19:3, it says, so they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let man not separate. So it's basically saying, but what does two really mean two, or does two mean four? It's like,
the question, what does husband mean? Is that singular or is that plural? So it's just like, but when you just like, but does that really mean? So it's like, now you just
Colin, it's basic English. If I have 5 wives and I'm speaking about one in particular, that is my wife.
But it
Shaheed,
wasn't written. It
Shaheed,
wasn't
I'm gonna
written
say
in
is,
English. It's
Shaheed,
you
I'm gonna say
reading
That's my
you're
point.
reading a
And
translation.
that's a great point, Shan. We don't
Shan,
even
what
have
did you
the
say?
original. We don't even have the original language.
Yeah, we got. But so what do we do? Do we just say fuck it because we don't know what it was originally saying,
I
or do we go
I
do our
don't.
best?
With all due respect, I don't subscribe to that book for those various reasons, because Jesus did not speak Greek; he spoke Aramaic. So
Mhm.
I'm not like, you're giving me a book claiming to be from God, and we don't even know who wrote it. We're just trusting that this is from who they say it is.
Well, then Shahid, if that's your position, then why even argue it? Because you're using a book that you don't subscribe to as your source of information to have
No,
the
I'm
argument.
not. I'm saying that the information that people claim is there is not there. That's what I'm saying. Who subscribes to it is who subscribes to it. But what I'm saying is people are regurgitating things that is like, for example, keep your own wife. People are taking that to say have one wife. That's not what it means. That's like if I say I own my car, that has nothing to do with how many cars I have.
First Timothy chapter 3:2. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior.
I'm not a bishop.
Apt to teach.
See, that's the argument, though. See, Colin, that's the thing about it. Every time in the New Testament it speaks of a man, when it specifically uses the number one, right? It's always talking about clergy. So that's the argument, because it does that 3 times in the New Testament. It speaks on a man being with one woman, and every time it says it, it's talking specifically about man of the cloth. It is not talking about the layman's. Now, the argument, the counter argument to that is, yeah, of course he's talking about what pastor and clergy and bishop and all of them should do, but we supposed to be doing like them. That's the flip side. But other people are saying, no, we hold them to a higher standard. And there's other places in the Bible that shows that they are to be held at a higher standard. Why stop here at the wives? We don't have to do certain things that pastor has to do. The Bible says that also should extend to I can marry multiple women, especially when you have the Old Testament, right? Where it's mentioned a whole bunch of times actually doing that. Now you get into the part where I kind of see where Shahid's coming from, because it's like, well, did King James just start ripping shit out of the New Testament? Because as far as we're concerned, maybe King James didn't want a bunch of people running around the earth having a bunch of wives. And so in the New Testament, since the Bible was revised 70,000 times, whoever was in charge, whoever was the Catholic Church, whoever was in charge said, nope, take everywhere you see that a man had multiple wives in the New Testament, rip that shit out. I'll let you keep it in the old, but rip it out, get rid of it, burn it. I don't want to even see it. Don't let it be in this version. I need my version. I'm King James. I want my version to say not a single man. Now, you want to keep, okay, let's keep it fair. We'll give it to the pastors. We'll put that on the pastors. And in fact, I wanted to say it about the, so we never really know. We never really know. So if we're going to be hung up on what the New Testament is literally saying, which is what Shahid is saying, if we're going to be hung up on what it's literally saying, we should be hung up on it literally from cover to cover. But everybody wants to pick and choose shit, especially something that we know was changed. We know one thing's for damn sure. We don't know who wrote it. We know we can guess and all that, but we know the motherfuckers who changed it. We know the human beings who actually modified it. And if we know that much, it's almost like you got to say, damn.
And
How
the
much
Bible
of this
itself,
how much of this is true?
says if it's altered, changed, it throw the whole thing out. Like if one iota is changed of it, you disregard it. So that's why, you know what I mean? So like that's going deep into the
and that's where you have to read the different translations, even those missing books. Because you gotta reference. You gotta at least reference these sources.
This is where people get confused. Not translation, version. Because translation is just simply
it's King James Version, new.
Translation just simply means going from one language to another. Version is complete different versions where this scripture is here in this version and it's not here in that version. Translation just means this English.
So that's why you have to reference those different versions.
So that's what I'm saying. So which one is which one do we subscribe to?
So even in the Bible studies that we hold on Clubhouse, I even tell everybody, it's just like, you're not supposed to be just listening to your pastors and your ministers at your churches. You're supposed to be reading your Bible on your own accord. That way you're not just being led blindly. It's like you can do your own study, do your own exegesis. And if you see something that's contrary to what they've been teaching every Sunday or Saturday, whenever you go to church, then it's like you can call them on that. It's just like, wait, the Bible says this, and a dialogue should go from there. But if it's just like, no, you wrong, it's like, oh, well, you got the wrong church.
But to your point,
Bible, because I was just being led blindly by this dude who's just throwing out stuff or spewing out stuff. So it's like you should be reading your Bible and these different versions on your own.
But to your point, if I may, Colin, that would suggest to me that the studying to show thyself approved, that would suggest to me that ultimately it is going to be your very own interpretation and conviction that's ultimately going to rule you.
Right.
And that's going to be your direct line to God. And so,
and we're gonna do what we feel like or what makes us feel good, right?
Hey, so be it, because I go back to God's goal is to get as many souls.
But even
Jesus' goal is to get as many souls to Him. So he's not gonna make it complicated to us. He's not gonna try to confuse us.
Right.
So,
but just scientifically speaking, when I have this conversation, because people ask me questions about my lifestyle, etc. When biologically speaking, if we're saying that God is the designer of us, this human machine that our soul uses as a vehicle or whatnot, scientifically speaking, your biologically, your physiology is not monogamous as a man. Like, why we are not even chronologically aligned in our reproduction, because that's all sex is reproduction. Like, what it's been perverted to beyond that is what it is, right? But sex, the sole purpose of sex is to reproduce. We are not aligned.
I rebuke you
on the same reproductive cycle as women. I can have 5 women pregnant at once, while that one woman can only she's got about a year before she can produce that full life cycle. So even in that, the science is telling you that we're not monogamous. Even just in our innate being and how men behave when it comes to women is showing that. And I'm not saying all men, because some men have that discipline and they fight their innate desire to, have multiple women. But if you just look at it from a complete scientific perspective, it shows the monogamous being versus the non-monogamous being.
So then how do you explain penguins?
No, I'm talking about humans. I'm not, because I'm talking about strictly humans.
I'm just saying, penguins are monogamous like a motherfucker. They made for life.
Yeah, but I'm only because every species has a different, that is like I think the male seahorse carries the babies or births them or something. I'm only talking about the reproductive system of human beings.
So I like what Vegan 4C said. She said if God intended for polygamy, he would have made Eve, Sarah, Mary, and Julia for Adam. However, he made one woman for the perfect man. So it's like in the beginning. In the beginning.
But that's that all
what
goes
happened?
back to her.
She wasn't perfect, because look what the fuck happened.
That goes back to how she's interpreting that. Yeah. Like that's just it sounds nice, but that's how she's interpreting.
She ain't even listen.
and then that's Old Testament. So what does that mean?
Exactly. Like, you see, that's what I mean.
That's the oldest of testaments.
We're referencing the beginning.
But that goes back to the picking and choosing. Like, oh, we want to.
No, it's not picking and choosing. It's going back to the very beginning. So it's like at the establishment of Earth, at the beginning of time, when God created the heavens and earth. Why didn't He just establish that right then and there? Because He could have easily established, hey, there can be 2 leaders or there can be 3 leaders. So it's like, we wouldn't have known the difference. It's just like if God would have set our minds so we can all independently operate as CEOs. Every company would have 3 CEOs, but he didn't make it like that.
We can go in that
one head, and he made a help meet. So it's just like if he was going to establish polygamy, he would have did it at the beginning.
That's not true, because that's a merry-go-round of hypotheticals. I could say, well, why did he let the devil influence them and get them out of the kingdom of heaven? Why didn't he just let them be good from the jump? Like, we can do that all day.
Because he gave us.
That's a question you can ask to God directly.
That's
how many real.
We were given free will.
That's my point, though.
Ain't that what they? That's what we because humans was given free will.
No, I agree. That's not my real question.
Oh, it is. It's like free will. But
I'm just saying, like that. That's the same line of question. Is that, well, why didn't God do this? Why didn't God do that? Why did what?
Yeah, you can go on and on with that.
Well, Noah, God had favor in Noah. He had favor in Abraham,
Moses.
He had favor in Moses, and they all had multiple chicks. God was cool with them. He was like, all right.
He rebuked. I think it was, who did he rebuke? Was it Moses?
He stopped talking to us after the New Testament. He stopped talking to us. That's another argument. Like, why he stopped talking to us?
Y'all be good.
All right, Chris. He punished, was it Moses' sister and brother, because they like said something about Moses taking on another wife? They got punished.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was that?
Hold on. What did you say, Shaheed?
I don't. Was it Moses' brother and sister or something?
Yeah. So it was.
Moses took on another wife. They had an issue with it, and God punished them.
Having an issue with Moses' wife.
I think it was in Leviticus. But he.
So look, I'm reading it right now. It's the story of how Miriam and Aaron. That was his brother.
So he punished Miriam
for speaking against Moses, and the punishment was skin disease, and Aaron had to watch the sister suffer. But was it because
he begged the Lord? So the Lord healed her 7 years later, but it's because Aaron begged the Lord to spare her. But it's just like they were all in violation, and there was just the question of, well, why did he only punish Miriam? And there was a lot of great points to that. But Miriam, Shannon just said it, she was questioning Moses, and Moses was God's right hand man. So it's just like,
I agree. Well, no, it's because Moses had married that Ethiopian or Cushite woman, and so he was kind of dissing the wife, and God got mad. It wasn't because of polygamy.
No, I agree. I agree, Shan. But what I'm saying is the idea. Moses already had a wife. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Moses already had a wife. She was I don't know if she was 2 or 3, but that was the again, like, I can go with the hypothetical questions on why didn't God reprimand Moses for taking on his wife? Why did God say he would have gave King David so much more if he, you know what I mean? Like, we can go on with these merry-go-round questions all day.
Well, I know the question was asked, why did God stop talking to us? So God had to use imperfect people, as they're saying in the comments. So I'm glad they said that. So he had to use Moses at the time. And even Moses wanted to look up on God, but God was just like, hey, you cannot look up on me because you'll be destroyed because my power is so great. He's just like, I'll show you just basically a piece of my backside. Like, you can only see this much of me. You can only see this much of my glory. But once Moses was very imperfect because he kept questioning God. He kept questioning himself. He didn't have a lot of good leadership traits. So Moses then extended the leadership over to Joshua before he died, and Joshua carried that legacy on. So men are
so you saying Moses?
They're imperfect.
Saying Moses wasn't an alpha male? Moses wasn't an alpha male.
I ain't about to go there. What you saying? But multiple times throughout the Old Testament, men kept falling short. Like, men kept straying away from what God had commanded them to do. So that's why he created himself in the image of men. He as himself, Jesus, so he could do the rest of the work himself. It's just like I can no longer count on men to keep doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to send the only perfect person to walk the face of this earth, and that's myself in human form. So that's why I said he came to usher in, or to, what was I'm losing my train of thought.
Don't be trying to think that's the Bible.
He came to perfect the commandments. So he didn't come to do away with them. That's why he came to perfect it. And that's why I say he was threatened to be stoned and crucified so many times because the people thought he was in violation of the Old Testament laws. And he was just saying, hey, I'm establishing, like I'm ushering in a new covenant. So it's just like, I'm not in violation. So even with the whore and everything like that, when they was about to stone her, he was just like, okay, he is without sin, cast the first stone. So like every opportunity he got the chance, he was showing everybody that, hey, we are no longer, I don't want to use the wrong words because I don't want to say we're not bound by the Old Testament laws, but he's just like, no, we're under this new covenant that I'm here to establish. Yes, we're still living under those 10 commandments, but you don't have to worry about, as soon as I said, okay, we're stoning this dude, we're stoning this woman, we're stoning this person, because we'll all be dead out in the streets today. We wouldn't even be in 2022 if we were still being judged on the Old Testament laws. Because every time we're in violation, that would be our sentence. It's stoning.
So Happy said something. She said one thing to you, but she said something earlier too that well, let me just say what she said. Huh?
Are the mic still hot?
Yeah,
we live.
Yeah.
Oh,
So Happy said, how did Eve cultivate the entire world population? I can't get past that part.
Incest.
Because that would be the only way.
Yeah, and that's before the restrictions was put on. It was super vagina. Birth didn't hurt. There was no labor. Babies just came out.
So brothers and sisters, mother and daughter, father and daughter, all that.
Mm-hmm. It was easy. It was no 9 months. It was didn't hurt to have a baby. You just spit it out like, just had another one, making them like a factory.
Or could God have created multiple people and Adam and Eve were the chosen people that what about that option?
That too.
Right.
That too. The Bible does not specifically say that the entire world was populated by those two.
We put our own interpretation into things.
Right. This goes back to the point of, reading for yourself, establishing that relationship with God for yourself, and moving according to your convictions and your understanding, right?
Yep.
Getting that third and fourth wife, right? Shahid.
I mean,
I'm messing with you.
He gonna make it work. Shahid gonna make it work.
No,
I'm gonna make it work.
Like I believe in three type of men. I believe there are men that deserve to be with multiple women and can handle it. They can sustain. They can lead. Yeah, they deserve it. They can lead.
Why do they deserve?
Because they have the resources for one. They are maintainers. They are leaders. They are sustainers. That's why there are men.
Do we deserve to go to heaven?
You said what?
Do we deserve to go to heaven?
What does that have to do with you being Chris now? What is it like?
Do we deserve to go to heaven?
If you do good deeds and work righteousness, I'm not even gonna say deserve because that's not my place. I'm not God. I don't dictate who deserves to go. That's like, how is that question aligned with what I'm saying?
Because you're saying we deserve multiple.
I didn't say we. I said there
answer
are.
Is yes. We deserve to. As long as you are born again and you confess your sins, we deserve to go to heaven because the Bible said that we could if we did that. Doesn't matter how we live. Doesn't matter how much of a hoe we were. Doesn't matter how many motherfuckers we didn't kill.
So if we deserved it, grace and mercy doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm not answering that. Like I don't.
True. That's not true at all.
I don't see that.
We deserve grace and mercy is that which allows us to earn heaven.
Yeah,
The grace and
exactly.
the mercy.
Exactly. It's not deserving. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? So we
Right, I hear what you're saying, but that's a
if we
deflection
deserve
from what.
something, there's no need for grace and mercy.
Right,
Because like, okay, you're deserving of this. So
right, but we're talking that heaven conversation is completely different than what Shahid is
Yeah, I
talking
don't
about when he's
even
talking
like.
about deserving
I'm so
wives.
confused at that. But I also believe that there are men that only can provide for, sustain, and lead one woman, and there are men that don't deserve women at all because they're not worthy of it. And that's where the balance comes in at. Right now, this monogamous structure is where the imbalance comes in at, is where the broken families comes in at. That's why women keep getting stuck. Monogamy is the breeding grounds for low quality men. This is facts. Like, because now as a man, because men die in war, men are incarcerated at a higher rate. The homosexuality rate, the difference between men and women in homosexuality, the reality is if when men partake in homosexual activities, there are very few women that are going to engage with those men. When women engage in homosexual activities, more men have less of a problem engaging with a woman that has been with a woman. So the imbalance is always going to be there.
I know Shane has some pushback on that.
What's the pushback?
Do you
I didn't hear him. I was over here talking. I didn't even hear what he said. But
See,
apparently you got some. So what is it?
This is the difference where people get mistaken of. Yes, there are nearly there's a
because women are with one man.
That's not what I said.
It's creating single parent households.
No, this is what I'm saying. The monogamy breeds a lower quality version of men, because now this is where, like Shan likes to say, you get the Pookies and the Ray Rays because they don't have to do nothing because women are falling in their lap. Why do I have to lead and be honest and have integrity and provide when a quality woman's gonna fall in my lap anyway? Why do I have to do that?
That don't make sense.
Why does that not make sense?
That comes to the decision making. They're choosing the Pookies and Ray Rays, which lead to the baby mamas, which leads to
because
the
of this idea. Yes, you're proving my point, Colin. They're choosing the Pookies and the Ray Rays because they've been conditioned to the believe that monogamy is the only relationship form.
No, I don't see how you correlate the two.
I
believe. See, it's almost like I believe what you're saying, but it just stands alone. It stands on its own. It's not as a result of monogamy or polygamy.
So Shane, you don't believe that women today, more specifically black women,
yes, I think that stands on its own. I think that
it's
absolutely.
all connected. How is it not connected?
Because you're associating that with polygamy and
right,
monogamy.
that's what I'm saying. It's just like,
because Shan, the idea of monogamy is a man and a woman joining together as one, right? You have women that would prefer to be with a less qualified man just for the simple fact that she has him as her own.
That has nothing to do with polygamy, though. That comes down to the choice of choosing a not.
Yeah, that's not why. That's not what they're not choosing.
That's not because I don't have a vast.
No. But what? Listen, Colin. What he's saying is, the quality men get more chicks, and I can't deal with no quality man that's gonna cheat on me. So I'm gonna fuck with these less quality guys because he's gonna be faithful to me.
So it's not about monogamy and polygamy.
That's not the actual case,
is
Colin.
The imbalance.
And the Pookies and Ray Rays are the biggest cheaters of all. But
I agree. That's my point. I agree.
The imbalance is the upbringings of Pookies and Ray Rays being created and
oh my God. And
good
Colin,
quality man. That's what it comes down to.
Guess what? The Pookies and Ray Rays come about because there's no father figures in the home because women
perpetuates this whole cycle that we're in right
now. They would rather be alone and single than to have a partnership or a union with a man a qualified man that can establish fatherhood for the children, that can provide for the children. So they'd rather be a single parent. And here you go. You now you produce the Pookie and a Ray Ray.
So under your analogy, they should go with the high value man that already is wifed up.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that every woman should choose to be with a man that has multiple women. I'm saying that if we balance it out in the qualified men that can provide, sustain, lead, father these children, etc.,
the ones that can do it are willing to do it, let's not frown upon that. Let's let these women that are okay with it, let's not shame them. Let's get these women protected, provided for, led, etc., the children, father, etc. Now you have a proper balance to where the men that only want one woman, you know where they are. Now you also know where the men that don't deserve women at all, you know where they are. And it's clearer to see that, okay, it's easier to differentiate that way. That's where the balance comes in.
I got you. I understand clearly what you're saying now. And so I can say this confidently that you are straight up wrong.
But I have the facts on my side. You don't.
So this even harkens back to, it's like you challenged me even on Tuesday saying, Colin, I never said I wanted to be married, because it's even the last live episode, 2 episodes back, you were strong and saying, well, I don't have to marry. Well, I can do all this without marriage. So it's wrong on. So
how am I wrong with how am I wrong in saying it?
This is what you are about.
I do want to say,
you personally want polygamy. You personally want wives and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm saying is you are perverting what God has structured, and that's actually what's harming the Black community, not helping the Black community.
Ain't what's Colin. That's not what's harming the Black community. What are you talking about? That's not what's harming the Black community.
Polygamy is not harming the Black community.
No, don't get polygamy and polyamory mixed up. Polygamy is not harming the Black community. Colin,
what?
Y'all be having some straw man arguments sometimes. Y'all be just banging on each other.
Yeah, there's hardly any polygamy in the Black community.
So what is polygamy? Because maybe I'm confusing the two.
You just think having sex with a bunch of chicks is polygamy. That's not polygamy.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about ethical non-monogamous practices where everybody is being open and honest and in agreement with one another.
Which one is that? Which one is that?
You said what? It can
what
be.
Is that? The one you just described.
I'm speaking specifically on polygyny with a G. But however, what's ruining the Black community is men lying to women saying that they're practicing monogamy and they're not. If you know you're a non-monogamous man, why would you go into a relationship making a woman believe that you're monogamous? That's what's harming the Black community, because now she gonna kick you out. Now you're gonna be mad at her. That kid ain't gonna have a father, etc., etc. That has nothing to do with polygamy. That has nothing to do with that.
Stop it, Shahid. That's not what's ruining the Black community. It's not polygamy. It's not.
Hold on. What they put in the chat: polygamy is having multiple wives. Polyamory is having multiple loving relationships.
And I would suggest that neither one of those are hurting the Black community, because what you'll find more than anything is whether it's in polygamy.
Okay,
you tend to have families who stay together, and the families might be large, but that father usually shows up in each of those in each dynamic of that large family. And even in polyamory, you find more content people than you do. Right, exactly. Than you do in generally speaking in other relationships. And again, there's not a ton of Black people in either of those.
Right.
But Colin, I don't know that you hear. I don't know that you hear yourself when you say that, because like just a minute ago you was mentioning Shahid, like I guess there was an argument on Tuesday or something, and you saying, well, that's how you want to live, and you're perverting God's word, and so that's what you want to do, but then you're doing the same thing on the flip side. And I don't know if you hear yourself when you do that, when you say, yeah, see, that's what's ruining the community and polygamy, and because and people out there just smashing everybody.
And that's immorality. Yeah. That's sexual immorality.
That's a bunch of liars that's out there just, and the hound dogs that's just fucking anything and everything and having a bunch of kids, and women that's not even vetting the men that they're fucking. But the thing is, it's all interpretation. We do agree with that? No, I heard it from Shahid, but I haven't heard it from you, Colin. Do you not, or do you believe that the Bible should be only interpreted one particular way?
It's impossible.
Well, I'm curious what Colin thinks.
So I keep it simple. I read the text that's in front of me. So like I said, I have my regular Bible studies, and then with stuff I'm hung up on, I write down my notes, and I go to not only a minister or a friend of a minister, but I go to somebody who I'll even have like clubhouse discussions on a certain topic just to get different perspectives. I don't go off of just one perspective. I definitely just don't lean on mine, especially when I'm not well versed in it. So I would say the way the Bible is set up and how simple the scriptures are, how simple God's commands are. Yeah.
It shouldn't be complicated. Just read the text and it's just, I got you. All right.
So, but what I was going to say was understanding the definition of polygamy, I was wrong. So I didn't understand what my understanding of it was completely different. So I apologize for that. And then, yeah, if I was being if I came off
extreme
to you, Shaheed, and everything, because your beliefs are your beliefs and my beliefs are my beliefs. So it's just like I shouldn't, if I came off just pressing or saying you're wrong for this or you're in violation of this, I apologize about that too.
Okay, I was about to say, we don't do passive aggressive. We don't do passive aggressive. I was waiting.
But what I'm saying is still my truth is still what's in the Bible, still was written, and the Bible talks about these things. So who am I to say that, I'm not the one to cast judgment. So.
And again, I have to say this, and I definitely appreciate what you just shared, Colin. And still, two humans can read the exact same Bible and walk away with two different understandings of any specific scripture or context in the Bible.
Right.
And when you go off and do those, and you have those questions, and you go off and lean on to someone else, you're leaning on to their understanding. You're leaning so you're taking on, and of course it's someone perhaps that you in leadership that you vetted and that you trust, but you're still adopting for your understanding. You're adopting whatever they understood and interpreted.
Right, but I think you heard me say, Wes, earlier. It's like 5 minutes ago when I was just like, you shouldn't just be going off what the preacher is saying. It's just you should be studying the Bible on your own accord. So it's like if you see something in the Bible, so it's like I've been hearing a lot of things on Clubhouse, in these rooms, biblical smoke rooms and things like that, and then just other things. It's like I've been a Christian my whole life, and some things that just made me question some of the things I was raised upon. So it's just like I'm not one to just hold it in. Like I will go directly and ask these hard questions. And like, what does it talk about? When is this? And it's just like I'll be on the phone for 1-2 hours, not combating, but questioning. What does this mean when this says this? What does this mean? Okay, and it's not even just taking that, but going back, and it's just like, hey, this is what this means. This is what this means. So we have the best, because we have Bible studies every Monday and Wednesday on Clubhouse. The best Bible studies we have is when there are people who are frequenting our stages and offering their perspectives. Those are like the best dialogues and the best Bible studies versus, just the same group and we're all in accord and it's just like, saying the same thing and things like that. It's a good Bible study regardless. But what I was saying is the best ones is when there are different perspectives and things like that, but they're still kind of like on the same accord. It's not like a redirect or something totally different. If it is, then it's like it goes on for hours. So yes, I agree with you, Wes.
But I've done a little studying of the historicity of the scriptures in like the manuscripts, etc. So that's what for me, like mine was so.
I knew he was gonna do that.
Historicity.
I mean, I thought I was the only one that even knew what that meant. I like that.
Like the earliest manuscripts of some of the New Testament is like 300 to 400 years after Jesus. So it's like that's where mine is. You know what I mean? We're basing our livelihood off piecemeal, in a sense.
Mm-hmm. But what else do we got, Shaheed? Do we just say, all right, do we just throw it in the trash and ignore it and say, fuck it, just do what we think is best?
That's a different story. That's a different conversation.
What do we do? I mean, even if we use it as a guideline, I mean, nobody knows nothing until we build a time machine Nobody knows nothing. We'll never know.
No, we know. It's written. It's there.
Yeah, but that is written in the earliest documents is 500, 400 years later.
Nothing new under the sun, brother. Thousands of years later. Everything's still written in the Bible. So let's just say someone man just wrote that all up and everything. How all those things from thousands of years ago still apply today. I mean, everything that we're facing today there's still full circle moments. Even we're in Joshua right now. So just what the Bible says we just see that we constantly have full circle moments where it's like, oh my God, what's happening today actually happened here with leprosy and things like that. And so it's just like, there's really nothing new under the sun. So it's just like all these parables, all these lessons that the Israelites, Egyptians,
Yeah, but see, but wait, hold on, Colin. So if ain't nothing new under the sun, how come your restart is New Testament only? How come you can't go all the way back to ain't nothing new under the sun, back to Genesis? And with us having multiple wives and all that kind of stuff. Like, how come the new one ain't nothing new under the sun?
We're in the Old Testament, right? We're reading the Old Testament right now. The Old Testament right now is used for lessons. These were lessons we should be learning from. That's what we use the Old Testament for.
Well, that's Baptist. What if you're Pentecostal? And so I mean, anyways, I don't want to get into that. I don't even like that. That's why I don't even like having. I used to religion and politics. Religion and politics. Jeez.
You shouldn't be dissuaded from it. You should be encouraged. You should want to approach it. Because it's just expanding your knowledge. So it's like I'm enjoying the Bible studies because like I'm learning.
No, listen. I married my first wife was the bishop. I sat on the pulpit. You talking to? I sat on every Sunday. Sat on the pulpit and drove Bible study on Wednesdays. I could write a book about my life. I don't tend to talk about this stuff like I used to or anymore because I know where it can go. But
because we need to go there.
But a lot of people are. But some people and most people, in my experience, it's not for learning. It's for pushing a belief. And that's what happens. Like a lot, like I've never been into your Bible study classes on Clubhouse, and you said, this the best ones is when these people come up on stage. Is it I haven't been there, but is it the best ones because people come up on stage and it gets heated? Or is it the best ones because
it's not a smoke room, so it's like it's no arguments, it's discussions.
Right. The next person would say, no, I would prefer a little bit of contention because that's the only way to drive it through. Everybody's different. And so since it's so diverse, I tend to not have political and religious discussions because you never kind of know who you're talking to. Somebody can fire off and say some shit. The next thing you know, niggas is talking about pulling up. It's just, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Well, Bible study, right. Hopefully Bible discussion shouldn't get that.
I've seen pastors square up.
Like pull up with Bibles? Pull up with guns?
No, man. No, we were sitting in the back of the green room. Two pastors that were two invited pastors at one mega church getting ready to fight in the back. Bruh. That I'm just saying, religion gets deep and oftentimes it is really just a echo chamber, and people are looking for more people that think what they think and want what they want and feel how they feel, and they create a group together. And if somebody else opposes any part of that, it's not welcomed. It's not encouraged. It's not like, well, let's discuss this. Let's figure it out. It's no, this is it. And then next thing you know, they flipping through the pages to run to prove their point. And then they flipping back. The other person's flipping through the pages to prove his point. And the other person doing this. And that shit goes on for years.
Because it's ego. And I actually had a long conversation. I literally drove from Houston to Austin with my friend who's a pastor at a church, who's a minister at a church. And maybe the last 30 minutes of the trip, I wasn't on the phone, the majority of the trip. And I was telling him about stuff that's being said about Christians in these biblical smoke rooms on Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, they do make good points, because it's just like, nah, this is. I was like, but they do be making good points, and I like brought it to him, and I was just like, so I was like, for you to just write it off is doing a disservice, because you're talking about y'all, you're putting together these lectureships and things like that. But it's just like, that's old school. The reason you're losing men and the reason you're losing younger children at the church today is because you aren't where they are. You're not even hip to what's going on or what they're talking about, what they're dealing with. So it's just like, these biblical smoke rooms, they're garnering 2,000, 3,000 people every single time they go live.
Is that why you think? Is that why you think men don't go to church these days? Is because they can't?
Well,
they can't commit.
It's the softening of. I mean, it's stuff we talked about before. Just the catering to certain people. It's like not keeping the same energy for every sin. It's like, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this, but it's like, over here, we don't want to kind of touch this, or we want to be delicate with this. But the point I was making was,
crawfish.
but I told him, I was just like, we have to have these difficult conversations. I was just like, if you go into these rooms and with somebody who is bashing you, it shouldn't be to combat. It should be to have an open discussion. Because it's just like, when two people are discussing something and you're bringing out points, it's very easy for ego to get involved, because then you have something to lose. Because if you're proven wrong in front of a big audience, then people are like, oh, well, he was proven wrong on this and everything, so should we listen to this person? And vice versa. But it's just like, but if you get the ego out the way, it's just like, well, I didn't know that, so let me go back and read that. Or it's like, oh, well, I stand corrected. So who benefits? The people in the discussion and everybody listening into that discussion, because these are conversations that are so hard to have, because people get egos, and it's like, I ain't gonna touch that, or I ain't gonna touch, or you got to come into my environment, and each person got something to lose. But it's just like, are we talking about the word of God, or are we talking about winning the battle? So to your point, it's just like, what's happening is people just want to win a battle versus having a discussion of, hey, what's real? What should we be following? What's this? But we can't wait for that to happen, which is going back to my original point, is that's why you should be reading the Bible yourself, because we're all disciples. It's not just the ministers that.
No, but then but you sound dismissive when you say you should be reading your Bible yourself. People that still argue those points sometimes do read the Bible themselves.
That's not dismissive.
Oftentimes way much more than you do. But then because it seems like, because you come from a position of superiority when you say it like that. I'm just telling you how it sounds. So it's almost you come off the way it sounds to me, and I'm not in this, and so I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just saying, when you come off and you say, that's why I'm saying people need to do it, you're saying it as if you do, and they don't. And just because they're arguing, even though they're arguing with ego, and even though they're arguing with pride and in some cases fucking arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
If the assumption is that they haven't learned like you've learned, then they're wrong, and that's wrong in and of itself. And I think that's what y'all hear.
We never stop learning, but I can't tell you how to feel. Like, no, you shouldn't have felt that way when I said that. That's how you took it. So there's a possibility other people took it that way. That's not what I meant. Okay. What I'm saying is simply, the example I used on myself was, all my life I've been going to church and I just like listen to ministers and things like that. But it's just like, no, I should be. It's even encouraged that it's like, study your Bible on your own accord. Like, read the scriptures for yourself. If there's something you feel like you need to challenge me on it. So I read this and I interpreted it this way, but you always say this. So what something's wrong here. Something's off.
So my question, Colin, will be, what Bible?
The Bible, King James Version, New King James Version, New International Version, ESV.
Do you know those are like not all, but they like some scriptures are not there, some are there. So it's like, which Bible are we holding to the Bible? Which one is the Bible? Because the Roman Catholic Church will say the Protestant Bible is not the Bible.
Right. I know there's a lot missing in Ecclesiasticus, and there's a lot of omitted books out there. What I'm doing personally right now is I'm reading from the beginning of the Bible all the way to the end.
But that's my point.
Right. But what I'm saying is I'm reading the King James Version of the Holy Bible. So after I read the last chapter in Revelation, I'm gonna start reading the books that are not there or have been omitted. So I'm literally gonna be cross-referencing the three main Bibles. I can't quote them right now, but the three main Bibles or versions that are out there, so I can cross-reference.
Gotcha.
But for me to get a full understanding, I got to read the full Bible. So that's what I'm doing right now.
I have a thought. So, they say that, the Bible is a living and breathing document, so to speak. Much like the Constitution, right? So here's my thought, though. If you can read the Bible and still, as a person going in with the intention of submitting unto God and understanding, if you can read the Bible and still have something to learn, still be taught something, that in itself, to me, proves that how can I put it? That help me figure this out. How I'm saying it. It's like that proves that it is left up to interpretation.
Oh,
like the fact that if you can. So, Colin, for you, if you can read it and then have to cross-reference anything, means that it's a continuous learning that actually. Not only do you learn because the Bible is not unchanging, but you're learning based upon your own life and where and how to apply it, so to speak. And you're getting new revelations throughout. There's moments when I still I'm not an avid Bible reader. I was at one particular point, but I still get revelation when I read certain things, and it's usually relevant to my journey. Or something along my journey allowed me to see this particular thing more clearly, or to have a deeper understanding of it, whether it's my physical journey here on earth or just my relationship with God. That being said,
so Wes,
yeah,
what more do you need to learn about 1 + 1 = 2?
That exactly. Nothing. I don't need to learn. Right. And
you're done.
And so
once you learn that 1 + 1 = 2, ain't nothing else to learn about that, right?
Exactly.
It's done.
Right.
1 + 1 is 2. Period. There's nothing else to discuss.
But so
you're saying once you read the Bible and you still got to go learn more, and it's a never-ending study, and this can change, then 1 + 1 ain't 2 in the Bible.
Exactly. What I'm saying, yes, and so what I'm saying is that the Bible is 1 + 1 = what you interpret, what you take from it.
That's a cold pinch right there.
Can you actually read and comprehend anything if you don't have it in its original, in its most purest form? Like, these are translations. Like, the original is in the original language that it was revealed in. For example,
Aramaic.
There's no gospel of Jesus. There's gospels according to the people that people thought were around Jesus, and that would be in Aramaic. Jesus did not speak Greek. We don't have the Aramaic. We don't have the original Hebrew of the Old Testament. So are you really getting the full understanding and comprehension from a translation? That's a question.
That means you have to go back and read the Codex Sinaiticus.
Right. And I mean, that's a lot for people that's not really into that. Like, if you just, the avid churchgoer, I don't expect people to know this, but like, for example, and I know I can read some Arabic, so I know that those are sister languages, Arabic and Aramaic, and I know that you will never be able to comprehend the Quran in English the way you would in Arabic, because the crossover between languages is so different. You get like a 40% of the true meaning because of, just how words don't transfer over, etc. So like I said, the average churchgoer on Sunday is not deep. They don't care enough to go into that. But these are things we also have to think about.
Right.
And to your point, to what you just spoke to, Shahid, I to my point, I guess, I still think that even if we had the original text, ultimately, it's still there's going to be a lot left to our interpretation and what it means for us in our life, on our journey at that moment in our journey. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Colin, you still there?
I'm here. I heard you. Because I still interpret that as we're always learning. Learning. There's always lessons to be learned in the Bible. You can go and read the same scripture, Bible, and you might interpret it differently months later, or you might find something new from reading it a second or third or fourth time. So it's just like, because you started out with it's a living, breathing book.
So how can you say, Colin, that it's not confusing? It's not to be confusing if you could read it and then interpret something new on the next reading.
Because we're always learning.
I agree. But to say something is like it's easy to comprehend, it's not this or that, but then in another breath say you learn something new, you find a different meaning the next time you read it, every other time you read it, those two don't align.
And that doesn't mean it's contrary to what you learned before. What I'm looking at is growth. Oh, I got something from this before. I revisited 3 months later. Oh, I got something else from this. So it's like you're constantly applying more and more to your life, which is leading to growth.
Right. A deeper meaning of something doesn't necessarily. I agree with you. I'm not saying that it doesn't have to be contrary to what you learned before. If it was deeper and you have a deeper meaning, a deeper understanding of it, that the point still stands.
So with that, it's like it shouldn't be confusing. I don't think it's confusing because it's something that's constantly, you're applying something constantly to you and you're constantly growing. That's not adding confusion, it's adding growth. It's adding more wisdom to you. So to me, it's not confusing.
I mean, yeah, in that sense, no. But like, for example, when the Bible says in one breath that Judas died from suicide and hanging himself, and then in the next breath it says Judas died from falling over headlong and his guts spilled open, that's confusing.
Well, it's not confusing as he betrayed Jesus and he felt bad about it. So how he died.
Yeah, the second one doesn't talk about how he died. It talks about what happened when he died. He sounded like said he threw up.
No, the second one says he was walking in the field, he fell headlong and his guts, he gashed himself open and his guts spilled out and he died. A dead man can't walk and fall.
Yeah, but what caused him to fall?
I don't know, he tripped.
That's my point. So the cause of death we don't know. It just explains what happened at the point of after
the cause of death.
Matthew says that Judas died by hanging.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Acts says he was walking in the field, he tripped, and his guts bust open.
Why he couldn't?
You can't hang yourself.
I'm about to be real. I'm about to go real crazy with it.
That's go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy.
How we know he wasn't hung, and then after he was hung, he fell, took a stumbling step, spilled over, and then everything fell out. I'm just saying. You know, one person, somebody standing on the east saw one thing, somebody standing on the west saw something different.
And it also says that he was shamed of the blood money and he threw it back to the high priest. And then the other one says he bought a field with the money of iniquity.
He could have bought the field, and
He
then
could have threw it at him
and threw the deed to him, and was like, "Fuck you." You know, I'm just. You know, I bought this field. I got my letter of fucking certification or whatever they used back then to say that this is mine. And then I threw that motherfucker at them and said, now it's yours. He threw the money back at him. But he still bought the field.
See, now this goes back to interpretation, right? And so now you just introduced two things. You said something a second ago, which if we're gonna go there, which is that one person saw this and somebody else saw that.
No,
and those two people, those witnesses, even interpreted two different things. I'm talking about to the hanging, the Shan's earlier point.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
which then goes back to, okay, well, what about the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Gospels that weren't included in the Bible?
Right.
Uh-oh.
Fellas, it's been good. I really did enjoy this conversation. And once again, I wasn't trying to make or establish superiority or things like that. It was just simply, it's just like, that's what I've just learned just by maturing and things like that. It's just like, no, I should be reading my Bible and not just listening to the words that are coming out of somebody's mouth. No matter how well versed they are and things like that, I need to interpret it for myself, because if I'm going to be a disciple, then I got to be able to reference the Bible. I got to be able to understand the Bible. I got to be able to apply what the Bible is saying to my own life. And I can't do that just by counting on church Sunday and Wednesday Bible class and all that kind of stuff. So I got to read. So that's what I meant. It wasn't, y'all should go read your Bible, you heathens. It wasn't that. So if anybody took it the wrong way, that was not the way I meant.
It's all good, brother.
Yeah, but I appreciate this, fellas.
Divorce.
We need to have more after shows like this.
Interpretation. You can't get divorced. Uh-oh.
I took some notes. You better believe I'm about to go study up on this.
You caused her to commit adultery. I caused her to commit adultery.
I'll see you next week, Shaheed.
Yeah, man. Y'all be good. I'm out.
All right, man.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, bros.
All right, guys.
Turning off the live.
Yeah, Colin. You gonna wrap it up, Colin? You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
What,
I'm
you trying
out.
to hang,
All right,
Wes?
brother.
No, I'm just saying.
Wes, I'm going to email you. We got to start working on the list.
All right, cool.
All right, see y'all.
All right, brother.